first time this century. Whenever you bring up Buffalo, you now have to talk about more than just wings and Niagara Falls. Because a new era has dawned in Western New York as the Bengals come calling for the most important week of the preseason.
With the new season just around the corner, dress rehearsal is almost over.
Let's keep climbing, let's keep staying, let's keep building.
It's time to step up and prove you deserve a starring role. Doesn't matter if you're a rookie QB or a seasoned vet. For some, this could be their final shot at the NFL dream. Show everyone what you got. You ready?
And the spotlight will be on the two quarterbacks today for Buffalo. It's their young QB, Josh Allen, the first-round pick with a rocket arm, as Bills fans seeing a future that recalls the glory days of the early 90s. In large part because the Bengals QB, Andy Dalton, last year helped get Buffalo back into the playoffs for the first time since the late 90s. This season-ending win also helped the Bills in a 17-year playoff drought. It's the Bengals visiting the Bills, and we've got it for you live in preseason action right here on Fox. Come on out here and stay a while, folks. I'm Kurt Menefee alongside 14-time Pro Bowler and Surefire Hall of Famer Tony Gonzalez. You know, this third preseason game, usually the most significant of the preseason, but rarely does it have any special meaning. This one, though, might serve as sort of a thank you. We mentioned it earlier that in the last minute of the last quarter of the final game last year, trailing Baltimore and facing an all-or-nothing 4th and 12, Cincinnati's Andy Dalton and Tyler Boyd hooked up for a 49-yard game winner that not only beat the Ravens in that contest, but allowed the Bills, who were watching in their locker room on TV, to win a tiebreaker with Baltimore and earn a trip to the playoffs for the first time since 1990. So when Dalton was introduced today to the crowd here in Buffalo, they showed some appreciation.
JJ and I wanted to take this time to say thank you for the support.
Dalton got a nice ovation from the crowd that's here. And after that game, they also went online and donated more than $400,000 to his foundation. He, in turn, gave some of that money back to pediatric cancer research here in the Buffalo area. So a good win all around, not just on the football field, for everybody. But something tells me, Tony Gonzalez, once this game kicks off, the love for Dalton's going to disappear from this crowd.
Yeah, that's a neat story, but you're exactly right, Kurt. I mean, it's a new dawn, new day. What have you done for me lately, to take a verse out of Janet Jackson? So these fans, and especially the Buffalo defense, they're not going to be thinking about last year. They're going to be thinking about this year, trying to get ready for the opening day.
All right, so Andy Dalton's the wily old veteran starting for the Cincinnati Bengals. There's a new starter for Buffalo, their rookie first-round pick, Josh Allen, getting a start today and maybe getting a chance to win this job. What can we expect from him?
Yeah, you know what? I've had a chance to watch him play in the preseason. He's got that rocket arm that everybody talks about. It is really pretty to see that ball leave his hands. But what really has impressed me about him is his ability to move around in the pocket. The kid's got some legs. He can make plays with his legs. But this is it. He needs to go out there, have himself a nice showing today, because with A.J. McCarron being hurt, he has an opportunity to be the starter. He'll come opening day.
All right, we'll see how his audition goes. So we send it up to the booth, and the guys calling the game for us here on Fox, Kevin Barkhart, and upstate New York kid, Charles Davis. Kevin, tell me he paid for dinner last night, didn't he?
Hey, we had some food last night, Kurt. That's for you're at Buffalo, right? You got to have a little barbecue. Let's talk about, though, Josh Allen. You heard Tony Gonzalez, Charles, talking about him a little bit. He gets a chance this week. So they've rotated quarterbacks. They have not named a starter for week number 1. Sean McDermott's been pretty coy about that. But Allen gets a start this week when all the starters are playing, and I'm wondering if he can win the job.
I think that he can, and I don't think there's any doubt that if he goes out today, executes at a high level, and shows that he's grabbed the reins of this team, and I think this team likes him a lot. Tony made some great points about his athleticism and playmaking ability, but if he executes at a high level, I think he can win the job and be their starter.
And we're going to see him for a while. He's going to play into the third quarter with most of the starting unit for Buffalo. Meanwhile, the guys are talking about Andy Dalton, who got an unbelievable, rousing ovation. I've never seen that for a visiting quarterback. More on that, though, during the game. When you think about the Bengals, 2 bad seasons in a row, but it has to come back to their stars, right? The two guys that came into the league together, and that's Andy Dalton and A.J. Green.
And remember, in the beginning, they were just following established guys and just happy to play. Now, as Kurt said, Andy Dalton is the wily old veteran, and so is A.J. Green. They've got to lead this team. A bunch of youngsters who are making plays in preseason. They want to get back to the playoffs. It starts with those two.
Yeah, well, we'll see how we look today. Most of the starters are playing today, at least for the first half. It's a dress rehearsal. Week 3 of the preseason, and football, Charles Davis, is back here in Buffalo today on a warm summer Sunday. It's the Bills and the Bengals. It's the NFL on Fox. Kickoff up next.
Moments ago, just an unbelievable scene as Andy Dalton, the visiting quarterback, a standing ovation by Bills fans. He, of course, helped get the Bills in the playoffs last year. That was something you'll never see, maybe ever again, in the NFL, but a cool scene nonetheless for Dalton and the Bengals. But this, for the Bills, is all about their young quarterback today. That would be the rookie Josh Allen getting the start. For more on Josh Allen, let's go down and welcome in Pam Oliver. Pam.
Hey there, Kevin. Josh Allen can do a lot, of course, to help his cause today. But Sean McDermott, he already sees plenty of things that he likes. He likes the way Allen remains so even-keeled. He just takes things in stride. But there's a flip side to that scares McDermott a little bit. He tells us that sometimes he's got to remind him, hey, kid, this is grown folks football. You will get your butt kicked. So show some worry. Now, is this just a formality? Has McDermott already decided on his opening day starter? We pressed Kevin, as you know, and he said, honestly, I just don't know. Back to you.
No, we should elaborate on that.
Yeah.
So Pam, who is the hard-hitting journalist of the group, at the end, Pam said, no, look into my eyes and tell. Right, Pammy? There you go.
Yes.
No, the direct quote was, look into my beautiful brown eyes.
And they are beautiful.
And they are.
And so we know from experience no one can lie to Pam. So Sean McDermott said, hey, I'll know what I know. But we know this. Kid's got a chance to win it today, right?
He does have a chance to win, and I think what the ultimate point is about Sean McDermott being coy is that if the kid wins it today, he'll be very happy about it. But if he struggles a little bit, he's got options. He's got a veteran in A.J. McCarron who's played football in the NFL, and Nathan Peterman quietly has had a tremendous camp.
Yeah, and that's what they're working with today. It has been a three-way battle, and Allen will get the call today. The Bengals won the toss, and they will defer. So we will see Josh Allen right away as Marvin Lewis back for another season, his 16th as head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. And after 2 down years, there were wonders about Marvin Lewis. He's back. A lot of coaching changes with Cincinnati, which we'll discuss in a little while. Bill Lazor, one of those guys who was here last year, came in as a coordinator middle of the year. He was on the staff, but now a full year with him running the show. Spanish language broadcast available on both Fox Deportes and by utilizing the SAP button on your broadcast here today from Orchard Park, New York. Nice warmer Sunday, and I wonder what that 22-year-old is thinking right about now.
You know what he's thinking right now. Let's go ahead and get to it.
Randy Bullock will kick things off and get it going. Week number 3, the NFL on Fox. Tywan Jones back deep to receive for Buffalo. And we wait to see Josh Allen, and here from Orchard Park, here we go. And the Bills will take over on their own 25, and here comes Josh Allen. And it's so apropos, right, Charles? Here's the guy they traded up in the draft to get. So the Bills, remember, they aren't in the playoffs for 17 years, that whole thing. And, of course, what number is Josh Allen wearing? 17.
17, and all the donations from the Buffalo Bills fans to Andy Dalton and Tyler Boyd's foundations came in $17 increments. And Pam mentioned that this young man is very even-keeled. Don't be surprised if Brian Daboll, the offense coordinator, doesn't let him throw it a little bit right out of the gate.
Chris Iver will start at the tailback today, so no LaShawn McCoy. We weren't expecting to see him anyway. Allen will throw on first down, and already he's got a drop out in front of Charles Clay, the tight end. And so give us a scouting report on Allen. You worked with him a lot. You saw him in the offseason, dealt with him a lot. You know him pretty well.
You see the size. He has Carson Wentz size, 6'5", 237 pounds. He moves better than you would think with the length that you see in his frame. Excellent feet, footwork, has the ability to work in and out of the pocket, and a rocket arm that he likes to show off.
On second down, they'll fake. Allen has a completion. It's Zane Jones who makes a catch, and he's going to work his way out to the 29. And a third down and 6 is coming up.
Remember, we just talked about his athleticism, and right away they go with some quarterback movement, faking the running play, the zone stretch play, and he boots back to the opposite in the opposite direction. Zay Jones coming against the grain, makes the easy catch and turns it upfield.
On third down, pressure, penalty flag flies. Allen breaking away, he's just buried. He broke away from the first couple, but he couldn't get away from Geno Atkins and Carl Lawson. And let's also see what the penalty is. Tony Corrente is our referee here today.
Illegal shift, offense, 2 players moving prior to the snap did not reset. This penalty is declined. The result of the play, 4th down.
So that means Geno Atkins is going to be very happy because he ends up with credit for the sack. See, if that's regular season, you're looking at the bench like, don't take the penalty. Okay, we're good. And they get the ball now, too.
Here is the punt. It's short. John Ross coming up on a fair catch, has trouble. He struggled a little bit in this area in the preseason. But Ross makes a catch there, and Cincinnati has great field position on their opening drive. And so here comes Andy Dalton. Well, we said it, Charles. I don't think you've ever seen, I know I haven't, I don't think we'll ever see another visiting quarterback get a standing ovation when being introduced. But that's kind of the fun angle to today's game. It's kind of Bills fans for the Bengals because the Bengals win the last game of the year at Baltimore, which was an unbelievable win, allowed the Bills to get into playoffs.
For the first time in 17 seasons. Talk about a drought for some starved fans.
And Dalton will throw on first down. Has some time. Gonna let it fly. He's going deep for Ross. He's got it. Makes the catch. Looking for room. Ross sneaks in. First play touchdown for the Bengals.
Last year, John Ross as a rookie caught 0 passes. Gives a little stutter step, and then goes blowing by Vontae Davis, who actually tried to grab him. Ross able to shake that off, shake off 2 attempted tackles, and takes it into the end zone. What a difference a year makes. A much better training camp for John Ross, has reshaped his body, his attitude, but the wheels have remained the same.
Boy, do they like seeing that. 57 yards to Ross, and the extra point is good by Bullock. So it took one play, and they're not cheering Andy Dalton anymore. That
cheering is over.
Long gone, but Bengals fans are cheering John Ross. That speed. He burned the defense, and then he patiently got on in. Cincinnati on the board first. John Ross broke the NFL Combine record with the 40 time, a 4.22, and the Bengals saw none of it last year. Bengals fans have to be salivating over that first play from scrimmage for them.
You know, he only played 17 offensive plays last year. There was at one point during the season, there was a rumor they were talking about moving him to cornerback, which he played a little bit of at the University of Washington. I think they're glad they left him at receiver.
Oh my goodness. Jordan Dalton is up watching from the suite area today. Great day for them in Buffalo, giving back to a local cancer hospital. The Dalton Foundation, the Bills fans gave so much money to. Jonathan Brown, young soccer player from Louisville, getting a chance in Bengals camp. He's got a big leg. Let's go back to that touchdown, though, Charles.
It starts up front. Billy Price is the rookie center, and the first due center Andy Dalton's had in 5 years. Russell Bodine is now with Buffalo. And look at the protection from the entire offensive line. People have talked about the issue. Watch to the right of your screen. Stop and go route by John Ross. Vontae Davis even grabbed his jersey. He ran through it. There was a missed tackle at the end of it by Poyer. Another one by Vontae Davis. And John Ross gets to break it down in the end zone.
Second series for Josh Allen. They give it to Marcus Murphy, who's had a great camp in preseason. Murphy with a great run and still turning forward. He's got a first down for Buffalo. He's going to make this team as the third running back. He's been very impressive.
And many people view him as a change of pace player, and the tempo really rises quickly when he comes on the field. Also gives you excellent kick return ability.
Chris Ivory in there now, signed on with the Bills to be their second back behind. Give it to Ivory. Always runs hard. He runs into a pile. That pile is still moving forward. Someone bring down Chris Ivory, who somehow got 8 out of that run. Michael Johnson was there first, but he needed some help.
How about back-to-back running plays where you just described the pile continuing to move when it appeared forward momentum had been stopped? First it was Murphy, then right back, the very next play is Chris Ivory. And if you move your legs like that, your blockers will keep working in sync with you, and you've got something going.
Second down. Allen pressured, and he is going to be wrapped up by Andrew Billings. Fans don't like the extra toss at the end, but Andrew Billings, the third-year man from Baylor.
You know how happy he is to be back playing? Watch Billings in the middle. Had a knee injury his rookie year, and it took a while to get back into form, and he's been an absolute terror during the preseason. Slips right past the blocker and gets right to the rookie quarterback.
One thing the Bengals have, and that is a lot of pass rushers. Youth there too, interior. They've got some skill at that position, and now we get some movement on that right side, and flags come down.
Ball start. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
So 76, they get John Miller, the right guard, not Jordan Mills, the right tackle. And much like Cincinnati, this Bills offensive line, they're trying to figure out what they have here.
Trying to rebuild it. A number of guys no longer with the team, most prominently Eric Wood, their center. So he starts there. Ryan Groy getting the start today. He's in a heck of a competition with Russell Bodine in the middle to be the guy who snaps the ball for their quarterback.
That's Groy. We'll see he and Bodine today, so that job could be won today for Buffalo. Third and long, Murphy on the draw, and it's going to be well shy of a first down, so the Bills will have to punt.
Kevin, early in this game, remember Pam Oliver talked about how even-keeled Josh Allen is, and he is. That's not a problem. But they've had a couple issues with getting started with the snap count, with the offensive line, illegal shift. Those are the things that the coaches want to see, a clean operation led by the rookie quarterback in order to give him the job.
Here's the punt. Darius Phillips waiting back. He had an electric college return career, and you see he's fearless. He catches that, and there's a late flag after the play.
Yeah, you call it fearless? I'm not so sure. Darren Simmons, the special teams coach from Cincinnati, will call it fearless.
Can I throw out there that he had 12 return touchdowns at Western Michigan, so he likes to take chances?
That's nice. Keep that in your scrapbook. This is the NFL.
There is no foul for kick-catch interference as a player was blocked into the receiver. Timeout.
All right, Tony, thanks. Maybe we'll take one, too. Bengals have the ball. We know that. They had it for exactly. Look at Phillips. Who cares? Somebody's right there. I'm going to catch it anyway. Bengals up 7-0. Their football. Welcome back to Orchard Park, New York. Bengals 7, Bills nothing. Preseason week number 3. So we're going to see a lot of starters today. And we're going to
offense number 62. 5-yard penalty and remains first down.
Well, we'll see some flags too.
Yeah, you mentioned rebuilt offensive lines. That's Alex Redmond, an undrafted free agent out of UCLA. He's on the practice squad 2016. And look who's coming into the game, partner.
That's a big deal to see him just running around looking good. Tyler Eifert, Charles, who was on IR after the second game last year, has played only 10 games the last 2 years.
When he is healthy, he is one of the better tight end threats in the league. They want to see him knock a little rust off before the regular season begins.
He is an electric player in that Pro Bowl year a few years ago. Dalton over the middle. A.J. Green seamlessly on the slant and a first down for Cincinnati. Andy Dalton looks like he's in midseason form.
And so does A.J. Green, who's come back determined this year to get back to what he thinks is the level he should be playing. And remember, he went to the Pro Bowl again last year, but he thought it was an uncharacteristic down year for himself. Too many drops, not enough big plays. Right away there, catches one and gets a first down.
Here's Joe Mixon. And not much there, and another penalty flag flies from behind the line of scrimmage.
Jack Lawson on attack.
Holding, offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That's on Alex Redmond, so second penalty on him already. Well, we showed you Dalton hooking up with A.J. Green. This is really, Charles, one of the most dynamic connections in the league. But last year, they were a little bit off. You see that number? They only had 3 of those last year. Not all their fault. The O-line, things like that. But they've got to be big this year for them, don't they?
And they have talked about it and want to reestablish that connection. Obviously, everything else has to be in sync with the offense as well. But they are looking to take those big shots downfield in the early going.
First down, Dalton going far side. Has got a completion to Green over there. Tre'Davious White, an up-and-coming cornerback on the coverage.
I think this is a really nice test for the passing offense of Cincinnati because I really like the secondary of Buffalo. You just mentioned Tre'Davious White, runner-up for Rookie of the Year last year. Terrific player. Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, Pro Bowl tandem at safety. Hyde went, Poyer should have gone. And picking up Vontae Davis, I think, was a very nice get for them. Coming from Indianapolis, a veteran who's been to the Pro Bowl before and eager to get back to that level.
Second down, Mixon looking for something. There's just nothing there. Buffalo played it well, and a third and long is coming up. So the Cincinnati Bengals, who are they, you ask? Well, they're a team that last season, they had an awful offensive season. Worst in the league offensively. Marvin Lewis back. They went to 5 straight playoffs, didn't win a game, but the last 2 years have been losing years for these Bengals. But they changed up the coaching staff in a big way. Laser was here, but in a new role, and then Austin comes in to run the D. They made some moves. They drafted a center. They got Cordy Glenn from Buffalo to play tackle, hoping that offensive line is a lot better than it was last year. That's why their offense was so putrid at times. Third down, 15. Pressure. They're going to set up a screen. And that is going to go nowhere. Giovanni Bernard had nowhere to run as Jerry Hughes wrapped him up.
And that was a terrific play by Hughes, number 55, because I believe if he doesn't make the play behind Bernard, he's got room to go. Had blockers out in front, the offensive linemen had established themselves downfield, but Jerry Hughes coming from behind the line of scrimmage makes the play.
Here's Marcus Murphy. Low liner type kick, room to run. Murphy, good cut. Oh, he just gets dragged down. Looked like there was a hole, and there's also a flag too. So,
and we have an official with his hat off. Typically, that means people are running down the sidelines, unless he just lost it in execution of this penalty.
And during the return of the kick, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 52, 10-yard penalty, first down. Timeout.
That's on Corey Thompson, but we will see the rookie Josh Allen looking to get this Bills offense going next. Bengals offensive line, where their new coach Frank Pollock, who comes over from years in Dallas, well respected, will run that unit, one of the many new coaches for Cincinnati. And Buffalo working on that offensive line tonight. They've made a change now. Russell Bodine, who came over from the Bengals in free agency, now in his center. They move Ryan Groy to left guard. And seems to create some confusion as we get another penalty flag. That one may be on John Miller for the second time. He's the right guard. Got all that, Charles?
False start. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
feel like it's a baseball all-star game making lineup changes right now. But one thing to keep in mind is not just the young quarterback Josh Allen and cadence and counting all. Remember, they've used 3 quarterbacks in preseason. All of them have a different cadence. All of them have different sounds when they call their signals. The offensive line has to get used to all of it.
It's Murphy on the carry. He's going to pick up 2. And so how much can the quarterback say affect that? I mean, we just told you they're shuffling linemen in and out here because those guys are trying to win jobs. How about the quarterback in that role?
The quarterback affects it when you have a week of practice, and that's the only voice you're hearing. That's why the starter takes almost all the reps. They don't want different sounds, different motions, different things that happen. And the other part is that when you're shuffling offensive linemen, they're thinking about assignments more, and sometimes the concentration goes on the snap count as well.
Second down, 4-man rush. Pressure again. Allen can run. He's going to let it fly. He's got a man, but he underthrew it, and it should have been intercepted by Dre Kirkpatrick. Instead, it was dropped. He was looking for Charles Clay, who had a couple steps.
And everything was going well for Josh Allen. Watch how he stays in the pocket first. Looks downfield, stays, waits. Now he exits. And here's the surprise. He threw the ball short. With that arm, the ball's not usually going to fall short. He's usually going to have a chance for the receiver to make a play on it downfield.
How far did he throw the ball at his combine at the pro day?
At the pro day, I remember it being over 75 yards.
I mean, so we don't expect him to throw it.
No, that's unusual. We just saw there.
3rd and long. Allen, pressure up the middle, sidesteps nicely, guns it, and that one is high. So that time he tried to overcompensate, and it's incomplete.
He's doing everything well in the pocket with his movement. You notice he's not exiting too fast. He's not feeling pressure immediately and going. He's making the proper slide steps, climbing the pocket, and then on that one he made sure, as you said, he didn't underthrow it. He threw a laser shot that was too high.
No, that one was a heater. And so here's the punt. It is short by Schmidt, and Phillips will call a fair catch. I think someone talked to Darius Phillips. Might want a fair catch the next one. Bengals had a big play, a bomb to John Ross. They get on the board. They lead at 7-0. College football is back. Labor Day weekend on FS1. Got 3 great matchups for you. CD, what do you like of these games?
At the Missouri State-Oklahoma State game on Thursday, do you know why they play on Thursday now, Oklahoma State? They were told to play on Thursday years ago, and Mike Gundy, the head coach, hated it, was upset, hated the idea. Then he realized we're going to end up playing in these games. So now he embraces it and schedules a Thursday night opener every year in order for his team to get ready for an irregular week.
I like it. Starts on Thursday on FS1. Looking forward to the college football season. Look forward to the NFL season. This is week 3 of the preseason. Starters playing today in their last dress rehearsal. And there is Tyler Eifert. We showed you coming in the game. He makes the catch for a first down. And I referenced that 2015. He was a Pro Bowl player. He had 13 touchdowns that year.
And anytime they got into the red zone, even though teams knew he was coming and had to defend him, they came up with different ideas on offense, different shifts, formations, and he scored a bunch of touchdowns. A fantastic target. Great to see him back and healthy.
So think about it. They can block up front with Ross, and now Eifert back. That changes everything. Here's Dalton. Going to set up a screen, and it's just dropped. Talk about that offense, though. This is one guy they're waiting to see it from, and that's their lead running back, Joe Mixon.
And that's a play when time comes, when the season begins, he's got to make that play. And if so, he's a good pass receiver. He is a pure 3-down back. Can run, catch, protect the passer, and if they can keep him on the field full time, he can give them some spectacular plays.
I mean, Marvin Lewis didn't mince words talking about Mixon. He said to us the poise level has to rise. That wasn't complimentary.
No, what he's saying is grow up, young man.
Yeah. So he's not there yet. 2nd and long. Dalton has time again. There, Mixon makes the play. A good catch inside the 15. So he goes right back to Mixon for a first down.
And talk about veteran leadership. Andy Dalton, he has the drop from Joe Mixon. So what does he do? Comes right back and calls a play that puts Mixon in a route and gives him the ball again right away. So there's Andy Dalton, that veteran quarterback. What did Kurt Menefee call him? The wily veteran?
Yes.
Understanding, let me get my kid back into the game right now, and gets it done.
Dalton's red hot to start. He's also had great protection. time they'll run it, looking for some room. Just nowhere to go. Mixon had no chance that time. Jordan Poyer up from the safety position to make a good play.
There's as good a tandem as safeties as you're going to find in the league. Number 21, Jordan Poyer. Number 23, Micah Hyde for Buffalo. Both of them very active in the run game, and last year combined for 10 interceptions. So you know that they can cover people, but when it's time to drop down in the box and make a play at the line of scrimmage, you saw ample evidence of it right there from Poyer.
Giovanni Bernard comes into the game now in the backfield. He's an excellent receiver. Second down. Dalton going end zone. Eifert was covered well, got a hand on it, but could not bring it in as Matt Milano was there on the coverage.
And Matt Milano exemplifies the type of linebackers we see roaming the fields in the NFL. A lot of them are former safeties that are pumped up into linebacker positions, just got a little bit bigger. He was a high school kid I saw play in Orlando, Florida. At one point shared a defensive backfield on his high school team with Ha-Ha Clinton Dix.
Oh, wow.
Then became a linebacker at Boston College. That helps his coverage skills.
Bengals can get a first down at the 2. It's 3rd and 12. A lot of time. Dalton going end zone. It's caught for the touchdown. A.J. Green hauls it in.
Touchdown, Bengals. Dalton to Green.
Cincinnati offense has looked spectacular today.
This was a drive where they involved a lot of people. Eifert caught passes, Mixon ran the football a little bit, but when it was payoff time, Dalton to A.J. Green, and he throws the ball on the break. So A.J. Green's looking back, and he throws it away from the corner, Tre'Davious White. Green understands where he is on the field and finishes it off.
Extra point is up and good by Bullock, and the Bengals have themselves a 14-0 lead with 4:32 to go in this first quarter. And you know, we came into today rightfully talking about Josh Allen, the kid getting a start, the rookie, the 7th overall pick, and it's been Andy Dalton and the Bengals passing game, which has stolen the show.
And it's not easy. Let's start with Josh Allen. It's not easy for him because the Cincinnati Bengals defense, young and hungry, and they're getting after him a little bit today, as well as their run game. But when you flip it over to Andy Dalton and A.J. Green, both of them with something to prove this year. They got used to going to the playoffs. They went the first 5 seasons they were in this league together. It hadn't been the last couple. They want that to change, and they want to be the leaders, and they're showing the way today.
And I think the biggest thing is you're seeing is time. This offensive line was a mess for Cincinnati last year. You know, they let go of Andrew Whitworth. They let go of Kevin Zeitler. They didn't re-sign those guys, and they paid the piper. This unit has done a nice job today.
The only returning starter to begin this year, Clint Bowling, starting at left guard.
So good start for the Bengals. And here is the kick to Tywan Jones, looking for a seam, and he's taken down at the 22. We talked about these Bills fans, this amazing community after Andy Dalton, the Bengals had that comeback win to get the Bills into the playoffs. So they started donating in donations of $17 to represent the 17 years the Bills missed the playoffs. Look at what they did, Charles. $450,000 to Andy and Jordan Dalton Foundation, and then Tyler Boyd, the receiver who caught the touchdown, they funneled him $150,000, and he found a way to help inner city youth play sports. I mean, that's just fantastic.
Special people here in Western New York. Very special.
That's just awesome. Here's Benjamin, who makes his first catch at a good throw from Josh Allen. So the story got even better because then this morning, because of the Bills fans' generosity here in the Buffalo area, here's Jordan Dalton. You know, they're donating back to the local hospital, the Pediatric Cancer Center. Andy Dalton's got a game to play, but he showed up.
Then why not? He's so appreciative of what they did for his foundation. You talk about the giving back, and he and Jordan expecting their 3rd child, their first girl, coming up. So they understand that's something near and dear to their hearts.
Blitz on Allen, dumps it off to Murphy. Had a block, but boy, that went away really quickly. Because Preston Brown, the former Bill, it's like a million Bills-Bengals connections today.
There are.
He just signed with Cincinnati, and he makes the tackle.
Yeah, welcome back to Buffalo, Preston Brown. Nice job emerging from the pack and finishing off that play with a tackle. Remember, Preston Brown tied for the league lead in tackles last season, along with Joe Schobert of the Cleveland Browns and Blake Martinez of the Green Bay Packers.
They go pistol formation with Allen. They're going to flip it coming near side. It's Corey Coleman, who's got great speed, the former Brown. And Coleman works his way out to the 40. That was an interesting trade because Brown's first-round pick, they passed up on some quarterbacks. They traded him to the Bills. I wonder how he fits here.
And this is how he fits with that speed. And you notice what they did was they tossed the ball forward, because if you hand it forward and the ball's bobbled, that's a fumble. You toss it forward and he drops it, it's an incomplete pass. So that's how people are running that jet or fly sweep now in order to take away some of the risk.
Bills 0 for 3 on third down so far. They bring pressure. Allen steps away, turns and runs. He's got good speed, looking to get to the chains. He dives. Did he make it? That'll be a first down, I believe. Let's see where they mark him. Well, now
it's going to be close.
Oh, hang on.
Did they mark the foot out?
We're shielded from that near sideline because the Bills players are standing in front of us. Let's watch the replay.
His body, the top part of his body, I think, got there. Let's see if they're calling a foot out of bounds before he gets to the first down marker. Nope. I thought he got there. I mean, that was a heck of a dive for it.
But they're hurrying to punt. Kind of interesting. I thought they would take a look at it. They're not gonna. Fans not thrilled with the decision. They love the effort.
I thought they would mill around a little bit and let them question it a little bit.
Here's the beautiful thing, right? Dean Blandino, our rules expert, is in the house here in Orchard Park. And Dean, we're gonna make your work come on camera. So instead of us speculating, hard to see here because we're kind of shielded from that sideline with the Bills players in front of us. What do you think on that call?
You know, it's really close. So you look at the knee hit. Watch the right knee. Where is the ball when the knee was down? Looks like it was right at the line of game. That one was worth a challenge.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, it's preseason, right? Who cares? Can we come stand next to Dean? What's up, Dean?
How you doing?
It's great to have you here. I think the surprise to me, Dean, as you said, if it's worth the challenge, I know it's preseason, but why rush out there so fast to punt on a play where you could get more plays for your rookie quarterback if you won the battle?
Dean, we have a lot to talk with you about, but we've got a whole game. So it's been a busy offseason in the rules department. I don't know. If you haven't been paying attention, there's a couple controversial things going on in the league right now.
I want everybody to take a deep breath, you guys too, and exhale a little bit, because this is not the end of NFL football as we know it. Overcorrection the first 2 weeks of the preseason with the helmet rule? Absolutely. 51 fouls in 33 games, 1.5 per game. We've already seen that number drop. Only 9 so far this week.
Oh, that's a big difference.
Did he just Aaron Rodgers us?
100%.
Did he do everything but RELAX?
I love it. Dean's setting us straight. Relax, right?
Relax. Enough out of you people.
Here are the Bengals on offense, and Mixon on second down is going to pick up a few. And of course, again, if you haven't been paying attention, Dean is referencing the new rule. You cannot lower your head to initiate contact with an opponent. It was called a ton, as he referenced.
And it's not just helmet to helmet.
No, it's helmet
to any body part, and that's offensive player or defensive player.
But I think what you're seeing this week, when you're bracing for contact, your position counts.
Yes.
They basically don't want guys to launch themselves like a missile at anybody anymore. That's what they're trying to get rid of.
A lot of those flags early were to tell the players what they want. They're just trying to get the right techniques in play.
Incomplete. That time Dalton fired it perfectly, and Ross, who made the great play earlier for the touchdown, couldn't hang on.
And if he catches this football, Kevin, I think he's still running. Look at him get inside of Vontae Davis. Ball's right where it's supposed to be. Catch the football, young man, and keep going. See, if he catches it there and then turns vertical, then it becomes a foot race with him and the safety. And John Ross is not going to lose very many foot races.
I agree. So one good, one bad for Ross so far. Kevin Huber to punt it away for the Bengals. Here's Marcus Murphy. Nowhere to go. As we near the end of quarter number 1, it's been all Bengals. 2 touchdown passes from Andy Dalton, 1 to John Ross, 1 to A.J. Green. Josh Allen has done some good things. He's had a lot of pressure. He also misfired a deep ball that could have been a touchdown too.
They would love to get some type of an extended drive right now, get some type of a rhythm going and figure out what this young man has. But so far, I keep going back to what Pam Oliver said at the top of our show. They like this young man because he's very even-keeled, and I think we've seen a lot of that. Despite the pressure in his face, I've not seen him get flustered.
From the 28, on the fake, looking, pumping, and throws it away. Nothing there. Intended receiver was Zay Jones. And with 9 seconds left, it'll be a 2nd and 10.
That was really covered well by Cincinnati. They've seen that play a few times now in this game. They've seen the fake stretch play, quarterback bootlegs to the backside. They got a completion early to Zay Jones on it. On that one, recognized by the Bengals defense and really defended.
Allen so far today, 4 of 7, 21 yards. Over the middle, and it's in a tight window, but complete. As Charles Clay made the catch, that'll bring up a 3rd and short, and that'll bring up the end of quarter number 1 here from Western New York. Bengals offense looking good. They're up 14-zip. Back here at New Era Field in Orchard Park, New York. Start of the 2nd quarter. Bengals lead the Bills 14-0. Glad to have you aboard. Charles Davis, Pam Oliver on the sidelines, rules expert Dean Blandino. I'm Kevin Burkhardt. Our entire NFL on Fox crew. Football season is back. And there's a 3rd down for Josh Allen. Pressure again. Allen is buried. He has faced a constant stream of pressure. That time it's Carl Lawson with the sack.
They just rocked Vlad Ducasse right here. Watching this area. Offensive guard for Buffalo. He just gets walked all the way back into his quarterback. Is that Geno Atkins? Number 97 just bowls him all the way back into the quarterback. One of the reasons that year after year, Geno Atkins, one of the top sack masters at the defensive tackle position. 3
sacks by the Bengals today. And a fair catch called for by Cincinnati. We'll be right back in 30 seconds after this from Hyundai. Bengals football. 1st and 10. They've got a 14-0 lead behind Andy Dalton, who's been simply great today throwing the football. Here's going to throw again. Steps up, coming near side, and he has another completion. And that time it's Tyler Boyd who makes the grab. And another 1st down, and Dalton remains on fire.
Now, this is not the prettiest pass Andy Dalton's thrown, but he threw it in the proper area. Look at it, goes right over the head. See, Poyer never sees the football, number 21. It flutters out of his hand, but it's up high, and Boyd sees it and is able to adjust to it. Poyer can't get his head around to find the football. Completion, Cincinnati.
Andy Dalton is 8 of 11 throwing the ball, and he's had 2 drops. Giovanni Bernard on the carry, makes a cut, good move out near a 1st down for Cincinnati. And that'll pick up 11 to Bernard.
You've mentioned that offensive line, Kevin, being rebuilt. Watch on this side and watch the movement that they get, which allows Gio Bernard to pick his hole, put his foot in the ground, and he runs through the attempted tackle right there by Jerry Hughes before Milano gets him. Look at all these guys married up to defenders. A lot of black shirts dominating the white shirts on that run. Open up the hole for Bernard.
Fake to Bernard. Dalton going to throw it to Bernard instead. Makes the catch in space, surges forward for another Bengals 1st down. We have an injury update. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Yeah, Kevin, he was a very important offseason acquisition for them, but now Cordy Glenn has been declared out for the rest of the game from Cincinnati with a shoulder injury. He plays that all-important left tackle position, and it's a position Cincinnati thought they needed an upgrade in. Back to you.
Yeah, Pam, thanks. So that's obviously of concern. You know, sometimes, Charles, we just saw number 70 at Cedric Ogbuehi, who's in a left tackle on that last replay, but preseason they shuffle guys in and out, so you're not sure, but that's why we have Pam.
Thank goodness we got that report so we know what's going on. They're hoping this is not a long-term thing for Cordy Glenn.
Bernard Nowhere to run. He's going to lose about 3 yards on the play. Lorenzo Alexander and Shaq Lawson really blew that play up.
She just pointed out Cordy Glenn out of the game. So Cedric Ogbuehi goes to left tackle. Well, Cedric Ogbuehi was drafted to play that position, but hasn't lived up to that status, thus the acquisition of Cordy Glenn to shore up that position. They're hoping Ogbuehi can find his way along the line, maybe at right tackle. But so far, that hasn't happened for him, and now he's got to play the left tackle spot.
Well, both he and Bobby Hart at the right side had really a lot of struggles at Dallas last week, so we'll see how he plays today. Second down, Dalton near side, gets it in there to Green. I thought that was pretty good coverage by Tre'Davious White, but Green hauls it in, and Bengals will move forward again, that time a pickup of 9.
From all the reports I got out of Cincinnati, it sounded like this offseason was an offseason self-reflection for A.J. Green. He put up numbers last year that any receiver would probably be pretty happy with. 75 catches, over 1,000 yards, over 14 yards a catch, 8 touchdowns, and he thought it was a down year. Thought he didn't catch the ball as cleanly as normal. Looks like he's put the work in.
Tyler Eifert lines up to the bottom of your screen. On third down, 4-man rush. Dalton guns it over the middle, and he's got a completion and a first down. It's Tyler Boyd, and the Bengals will move the chains yet again. You know, it's interesting we're talking about A.J. Green, Charles, and we all know, right, he's one of the best receivers in the league, but Pam Oliver found this, and it's a great point because you just don't think about it. All the things he's done, he's never been an All-Pro.
And remember, All-Pro and Pro Bowl are 2 different things.
Right.
7 straight Pro Bowls, and All-Pros picked by a couple of other sources. Antonio Brown would be an All-Pro multiple times. You know, you start thinking about the receivers, Julio Jones, who are going to be your All-Pro receivers. It gets to be a logjam at times, but it is a surprise.
That's Bernard on the carry. Yeah, he's got all these amazing numbers. He's got about 7 straight Pro Bowls. He's one of the greats, but he's never led the league in any particular receiving category. And I think that goes back to what you're saying. It's like, okay, he and Andy Dalton have been here together since 2011. Let's reboot and blow it out, right?
See if we can have some people, surround them with some people who could help them achieve their ultimate goal. The interesting part is, while he's never been an All-Pro, if he goes to 3 more Pro Bowls, he'll still be in a gold jacket.
No question. Every year he's been in the league, he's been a Pro Bowl player. 8th play. Dalton over the middle, tipped, I think. He got hit too, and it's incomplete. He was trying for Eifert. But that time he had some pressure from Eddie Yarbrough. It was actually Josh Allen's teammate at Wyoming.
And he plays with a lot of intensity, a lot of passion. Number 54 in white. He's in there, gets there. He didn't tip the ball, though.
That was Julian Stanford.
Yeah, out of Wagner, playing in middle linebacker position.
Wagner Seahawks getting some love.
Yeah, they're starting to get some players coming out that people are taking a good look at. An offensive lineman drafted this year.
9th play of the drive. 3rd down. Dalton coming for A.J. Green again, but he overthrew him. And Dalton got some pressure that time, too. And it looks like a field goal try. Who's going to kick it, though? And they will go with the incumbent, Randy Bullock. The reason I say that, they've got a kid on their squad, Jonathan Brown, who had a 55-yarder at Dallas last week, even though Marvin Lewis...
It was still climbing.
Right.
When he hit it. I mean...
He's got a leg.
He's got a leg, but they say this is not a competition. Randy Bullock, 18 of 20 last year, is their kicker because he's done it under pressure and is a proven commodity.
Right. 46 yards for Bullock here. Man, that'll work just fine. Marvin Lewis's Bengals have themselves a nice first half, up 17-0. Read this about the Bills, so I'm going to do it right now. Well, here's what they did. They ended a 17-year playoff drought last year. 17 years. And so the fans in $17 donations gave $450,000 to a donation for Andy Dalton Foundation. Great. So what they do, they go out and draft Josh Allen, who, by the way, wears number 17. They get a new offensive coordinator, Brian Dable, who won the national title running Alabama's offense in 2017. There's Brian Dable bringing some life even to this offense, although not today. And the number 17 is clearly there's a Bengal Bills thing connection. It's 17-0
See,
right now.
You brought it all the way back.
That's called full circle.
You tied it back up.
That's called full circle.
I like it. Brian Daboll back in full circle himself.
at home from West Seneca, New York, which is right here in Buffalo.
It's like a couple minutes down the road.
From here. Says he still has his grandparents in their early 90s and high 80s, and all of his championship rings, because Brian Daboll has, what, 5 championship rings, I believe?
He won 5
Super Bowl rings and a national championship. He gives them all to his grandfather so he can show them off to his buddies.
Isn't that great?
Pretty cool.
Here you go, Pop. Go take this to town for breakfast. I love it. Here's Ivory, who is always running like a freight train. Chris Ivory is going to be the backup for the Bills behind LaShawn McCoy. That's a nice pickup for this team. And Sean Williams, the starting safety, may have gotten dinged on that play. We'll see.
That's not something they need to see because he was dinged a lot last year. But watch Ivory. Good blocking right there. Miller 76, folding around and giving the initial block. And then once he gets into the secondary, he runs through a couple of attempted tackles as well.
20-yard run for Ivory and a first down for Buffalo. Run it again. Ivory. You know, I think, Charles, when you talk about the Bills, as we have a flag, too, we'll see what that is. You think about last year, a playoff team, but there are a lot of things that they needed to improve on. One thing they were great at was running the football. That is their identity.
And amazingly enough, they've been first or second in the league running the ball the previous few seasons. Fell to 6th last year.
Right.
Okay, so a real big drop, right? But that's what they do well, and the defense was very opportunistic. Gave up a lot of yardage, but took the ball away a lot last
foul,
year.
Offense number 76 with a leg whip. 15-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
It's a third penalty on John Miller Day.
I can't remember last time I heard that call. All right, you remember when the Denver Broncos were running and Alex Gibbs was the coach? Everybody complained that those guys were leg whipping all the time because they were so great at cut blocks. I can't remember last time I heard that call. John Miller must have gotten himself in a tough spot, and sometimes in desperation just to keep people off of your runner, you end up swinging your legs around.
So that'll move him back. Sean Williams is back on the field for the Bengals, number 36. Good sign for them. Here's Allen. Allen pressured again up the middle. Man, he has not had a heck of a lot of time. That time the pressure came from Billings up the middle, and then Willis cleaned it up with the sack.
I know it's easy to talk about the pressure, but why is the pressure getting home? Well, where are they going to throw the football? The coverage is good downfield. The Bengals have 3 cornerbacks that they don't call starters. Drake Kirkpatrick, 27, Darquez Denard, 21, and William Jackson III, 22. And they're doing a nice job taking away receivers and allowing their big guys up front to get to the quarterback.
Andrew Billings and Geno Atkins are going to be a nightmare this year for opposing quarterbacks. That tandem in the middle. Here's Murphy on the carry, nowhere. And it'll be a 3rd down and 30 coming up.
You mentioned Billings. Rookie year out of Baylor, hurts his knee. So all of last year trying to round back into form. You know, it takes a while to get past that knee injury and get rehabilitated. Well, he's back in a big way. You know, he was a high school powerlifting champion. He actually, the record he broke, believe it or not, WWE wrestler Mark Henry, his high school record. And he broke that before he went to Baylor.
I see what you did there. You know, WWE on Fox. I like it. Full circle, Charles. That's the theme here of the second quarter. Here's Allen. Pressure up the middle again, and he's going to be dropped one more time. Willis was the first to get through, and then Lawson cleaned him up. It's the 5th sack for Cincinnati, and the Boo Birds are here in Orchard Park.
And I don't believe they're booing Josh Allen. I believe they're booing the lack of protection for their rookie quarterback that they want to see shine. These guys up front have to provide it. But so far, they're breaking them down. Both on the outside, the first guy to get to him was Jordan Willis, 75. And then as he tried to step up, the rest of the guys got to him as well.
It's another punt by Colton Schmidt. And breaking the tackle here is Alex Erickson, who makes a nice move and gets into Bills territory. Marvin Lewis back for year number 16. He's got to be pretty happy today, I would think. 17-0, his guys. Andy Dalton. Well, Big Red, we'll see you week 1. He's done. 11 of 16. He had 2 drops, too. He had an unbelievable first half. And, of course, welcome back to Buffalo. Great seeing a standing ovation for his role in helping the Bills get to the playoffs last year. His day is over now, and now former USC star Matt Barkley, the backup quarterback, is on, and he will hand it off to Joe Mixon, who's going to pick up 3 yards. So this Bengals offense will hand over the reins to Barkley. You know, their backup from last year, A.J. McCarron, is now in Buffalo and trying to win the starting job here.
You mentioned a lot of Buffalo-Cincinnati ties. The threads.
Unbelievable.
They keep stitching together, don't they?
Barkley on the fake, has time near side, wide open is Tyler Kroft, the tight end, who actually had a career year last year. He had 1 touchdown prior to last year. He had 7 touchdowns last year.
He was able to fill the void with Tyler Eifert's injury, and Tyler Kroft was thought to be mainly a blocking tight end. And last year, given the opportunity, turned in a monster season, 42 catches, 7 touchdowns.
Perfect pass, too, by Barkley to pick up 21. From the 25, they'll run it. So, you know, Barkley here is the backup because the former backup, A.J. McCarron, is now here in Buffalo trying to be the starter in Buffalo, if that makes any sense. And McCarron got hurt last week against the Browns, Charles. There was one report thought he broke his collarbone. He didn't. He still got hurt. He's going to be fine for week 1. And, you know, the way things are going right now with his veteran, you know, background, I have a feeling he's still the leader in the clubhouse for that role.
Yeah, and I'm still not ruling out Nathan Peterman as the dark horse. He has the respect of the entire staff, and they really like his maturity.
Barkley on the play fake. Nicely done, and that'll get number 87, C.J. Uzomah.
And I just want to button that up real quick because I know people at home are saying, hold up a second. Isn't that Nathan Peterman, the guy who threw 5 interceptions in 1 half last year against the Chargers? Yes, that's the same Nathan Peterman. Had a tough half, but they love the way that he handled himself after it, the bounce back that they saw in the offseason, and they think that he's had a tremendous camp.
We'll see Peterman in the second half of this game. Right now, it's Matt Barkley and the Bengals. 3rd down and 4. Barkley fires high, tipped and incomplete. He was going for Erickson, couldn't hook up, and now it'll be a field goal try for Randy Bullock.
And a rookie the Bills like, Taron Johnson, number 24, was on the coverage. He's got a chance to be the starting nickel when the season opens. The starting extra defensive back can work inside in the slot out of Weber State out in Utah.
We've got Wagner in today. We've got Weber State in today.
Listen, if you can play football, the National Football League finds you, doesn't it?
I like it. 37 yards from Bullock. Already got a 46-yarder. This one is perfect. All Cincinnati today here in Western New York. 20-0. Bengals lead the Bills. Look how cool Kurt Menefee and Tony Gonzalez look. Our halftime show is coming up with the guys down on the field. Tony Gonzalez did something on our pregame show I didn't think I'd hear. He quoted Janet Jackson in referencing football. Tony
what have you done for me lately?
That's correct. Great song, by the way.
Yes. Look at that.
It's unbelievable.
Looking good.
They got the Hollywood look. They've got the halftime show coming up in 3 minutes and 48 seconds. So it's been all Bengals here in this week number 3 preseason matchup. And Josh Allen just trying to look for a little help. Look at this, 221 yards to 47. Allen has not had a lot of time. The Bengals have 5 sacks to boot. They've only allowed 3 first downs, and that's been a constant theme, the pressure on Allen. When he has had time to throw, 5 of 9, just 28 yards. It's kind of been hard to judge.
It is, but I'm glad that he keeps running out there and they keep sending him out there. Got to work through some tough situations.
So here's Allen. Good play fake. Looking to air it out. Coming near side. Benjamin made the adjustment. Could not make the catch, though. Ball was there. So was Drake Kirkpatrick.
And that was played for the back shoulder throw. He was not trying to beat him all the way upfield with the ball, with a long ball. Did he go in the air too early on this one? Look, I'm trying to. Yes, he did. Because his hang time wasn't enough. He needed another half second of hang time in order to be able to grasp the football. I thought it was a well-thrown pass. Kelvin Benjamin just misplayed it.
Murphy's going to pick up 3 on the run.
So I ask you this, partner. if Sean McDermott, the head coach of the Bills, was coy about the starting quarterback, this could be the reason why. Didn't want to commit to the kid and put him in a tough spot. All right? So now, as he evaluates this half, he may very well say, we've got 5 of our first 7 on the road. I may want to go with a veteran to start this season off.
Here's the problem with
the
Bills.
And the veteran would have to be a McCarron.
I agree, but the thing is this. We're looking at the quarterbacks, and rightfully so. That's the headliner. This 2 weeks in a row in the preseason, their offensive line has gotten dominated.
Which does come back to the quarterback. Because you want to make sure this kid doesn't get jumped on too hard early.
Well, that's why McCarron's hurt right now.
Yes.
Because he got drilled last week in Cleveland multiple times. As that is going to be a completion, but shy, so the Bills will punt this away. So how do you judge this thing then, Charles? If you're Sean McDermott, you got a kid, you went the number 7 overall in the draft, you got the veteran McCarron, Peterman, who you like, second-year player. How do you make a decision?
Here's how it comes down to me. If you want the veteran hand at the wheel, it's got to be McCarron. Even though his time is not extensive, he has played some pressure-packed situations, including a playoff game. If you're saying Peterman's a veteran, he's played essentially one full ball game
Offense,
in the NFL.
Number 18. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
So that's Andre Holmes, who's a special teamer there. But that, to me, if you're saying, is it between my rookie or Nathan Peterman, I side with the rookie, who I just drafted, because the experience isn't extensive for Nathan Peterman. It's much more for A.J. McCarron if that's the way you're going to go. I will say this about Josh Allen today. He's hung in there. All right? It hasn't been perfect.
No.
It's been far from perfect. But I've not seen him get flustered or rattled so far.
Booming punt. And out of bounds immediately is Erickson. Tywan Jones flew down there to make a nice special teams tackle. Well, Mike Pereira is here with us in the Buffalo area, and this is such a great story. His foundation, Battlefields and Ball Fields, they give scholarships to veterans and active members of the military, and they give them a scholarship to get back in the community and become an official. And so here is one example yesterday, and Mike was out here with Travis Packard, who's an 11-year Air Force vet. And Packard out there officiating Pee Wee football yesterday. That is a great job by Mike Pereira. Awesome to see. Should take us down to the 2-minute warning as Croft has himself the catch, and it will be the 2-minute warning here from Orchard Park. Bengals offense rolling. Their defense has been all over the field. 5 sacks today. Josh Allen, the rookie, had a tough time.
The Ravens 49 inches up in the pocket, throws, caught by Boyd to the 15, touchdown, Tyler Boyd.
Well, that is why Andy Dalton got a standing ovation. These wonderful Bills fans donating $450,000 to his foundation, and he and his wife Jordan turn around and they donate back to a local cancer hospital here in the Buffalo area. It's just a fantastic story. John Ross, with a 57-yard touchdown on the Bengals' first play, makes the catch.
And Tyler Boyd came out okay as well, because he has a charity here in Western New York. Excuse me, in Western Pennsylvania, and they donate over $150,000 to his charity. Very generous people here in Buffalo.
Here's Barkley looking to run the 2-minute offense, and that one is incomplete. Well, there is Tyler Boyd, who caught a 4th and 12. Think about that. Dalton had just gotten sacked. 4th and 12. He hits Boyd and then just turns it up for 40. Was it a 47-yard touchdown?
Just think about how penalties affect things. Remember, Andy Dalton threw an interception on that drive. They got called back on a penalty against Baltimore. Otherwise, that never happens.
Be a 3rd down and 1 for Barkley. Looks at the flat, comes over the middle. He's got a completion. So he thought about going to Bernard, but he hits Boyd, the hero for the Bills fans last year. And it's interesting. You talked about that interception. Kyle Williams, the Bills' unquestioned leader. 13 years. He's out today, banged up knee. We talked to him, spent some time with him yesterday. It was an absolute pleasure. He is just a great guy and a leader. Right, Kyle Williams? biting on the nails right now. And he said the story was unbelievable. So he was on the field with his kids in Miami, and someone said, oh, the Ravens just picked off the Bengals, and he thought it was over.
It was done, and didn't know whether to take him to the locker room, what are we going to do. And you noticed, if you went back to that video, when the celebration started, did you see him picking up his son? How cool is that, to be able to be in the locker room and have that time as a family? And he is a Louisiana native, and had some fun with our Pam Oliver, who is a Texas native. What was that quote that he gave, Pam, about how great Louisiana is versus Texas? You know, he created Louisiana first.
Louisiana is God's country.
And then Texas was what was left over.
And Pam had a little. But it's just great. Williams said he got in there for third down, and then, of course, saw the touchdown. Almost intercepted. And that's a guy that Bills fans are waiting to see. Tremaine Edmonds, you know, the second of the first-round picks, the rookie middle linebacker, almost makes the play.
And on this series, he's starting to have an impact. He covered a pass earlier and was on the spot to make the tackle. Then he came up with a second one, and here he almost comes up with an interception. I played against his dad in college.
Pharrell?
Yes, and he was a two-time Pro Bowler. He burned me for a touchdown in the Sun Bowl in 1984, 3 days before Christmas. Ruined my holiday. I thought I'd never play another down at the University of Tennessee, and now I get to watch his kids out here playing. I did a game last night. His other brother, Terrell, is playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, a first-round draft pick safety. And they have another brother, Trey, who's a running back with the New Orleans Saints. So I see these Edmonds all the time, and I have a good friend that I played with at Tennessee, Tim Hendricks, who was our tight end. Every time Farrell Edmonds' name comes up, he always calls me or texts me and goes, "You haven't caught him yet, have you, on that pass play?" And so I can't get away from the Edmonds family, watching them go out and ply their craft here in the NFL. They played in the NFL, and I still haven't caught the old man going in for a touchdown.
That is great. Tremaine is only 20 years old.
Amazing.
Like, that's really young. I mean, and his future, the ceiling is extremely high. Theo Bernard, look at him flying in there. You know, think about this. We talked to Sean McDermott. His time is ticking now. Bills have 3 timeouts, so they'll stop it, I'm sure. Sean McDermott. Well, go ahead, Charles. Show us the play.
Now, you're talking about a linebacker, and when we talk about versatility, can play inside and out, but the best thing he can do is flat out run. He runs a sub 4.6 40. 4.54 he was timed, I believe, at the combine. And at his length, with those long arms, ability to go sideline to sideline, he can make plays in the running game, as we just saw there. You saw him make a play in the passing lanes, so he can drop back and cover. I know he can blitz and rush the quarterback. 20 years old, so much great football ahead of this young man.
Well, Sean McDermott had Luke Kuechly in Carolina, and he said, you know, Luke Kuechly, his first year, was nowhere near the player that he is now. He said Edmonds is ready to play and start at middle linebacker, but his talent, he raised his hand above his head, is way up here, so he's not up to that level yet. As Ray McDonald, gutsy catch, makes a man miss, cutting through up near the 20. Ray McLeod, not McDonald, excuse me. And so we will get another series with Josh Allen. And we talked a lot about him, spending the 7th overall pick. He was born on a farm in Firebaugh, California, 1996. Didn't have a single Division I offer, Charles, to play college football. Went to a JUCO first and then went to Wyoming, where he was really, really good. So good where Bills traded up and drafted him 7th overall. His parents here today have not ever missed a single game, home or away.
That's amazing. What
Love
great
that.
support for him.
Love that story. Here, though, he is just getting absolutely besieged all day. 5 sacks for Cincinnati. It was almost 6, but he got out of it.
And that's a nice play by Josh Allen. It doesn't seem like much, but that was Carlos Dunlap wrapped all over him. And he was able to show his strength, Josh Allen was, and be able to get that ball away so he doesn't lose the yardage. Takes a big shot, and his head hits the turf pretty hard. I mean, his head hits the turf pretty hard. And I'm pretty sure the ATC people are up there taking a look at this one and making sure this young man's going to be okay.
He has taken some shots today. Only 39 seconds ago in the half, they're going to hand it off. And Murphy, who works up to the 25 with time ticking. Let's look at the play again.
Nothing dirty about it, nothing malicious, just football, but just the way that he ends up hitting the turf. And the way that his head bounced like that, that's something that's going to give us a little bit of pause.
Well, Dean Blandino is here. Dean, is this something that, cause for concern? And now Allen actually is being looked at.
Yeah, Charles was right on it. The ATC spotter is going to look at the contact, and they've got video upstairs. They're going to see the head hit the turf, and now they're going to evaluate him for a potential head injury.
So to me, this is an example of the system working. Now, could it have worked one play earlier? Probably what we're all looking at. But the system's working. The ATC spotter's up there looking for any signs of distress, any hits like we just saw there. And it went and had Josh Allen come out of the game. I like that. I like the way it moved.
So Nate Peterman will come in a little earlier than he expected. They're going to hand it off to Murphy, who's got himself a first down for Buffalo only 10 seconds ago. Bills can stop the clock if they would. So Allen will be checked out to see if he is okay at his headspace, and I'm sure his day is done. They were only planning to play him a series into the third quarter anyway. So with 10 seconds to go, the Bills do call a timeout. How do you evaluate, Charles, what he's done? I mean, let's put it this way. Pressure all day long, but one thing he worked on is, footwork. He drilled that in the offseason with Jordan Palmer. He had some nice footwork to keep plays alive, didn't he?
He did, and I think you evaluated on that. You evaluated on the poise, handling that pressure that was in his face. Okay, you're going to take a look at some of the throws that he made. There was a drop early from Charles Clay.
Right.
All right, so all that goes into the hopper, but the biggest one is, did it appear too big for him? And I think the answer is no. It did not appear too big for him.
Here's Peterman, 10 seconds to go in the half. Running out of trouble. Flag flies. And he's going to run out of bounds with 2 seconds to go.
The bigger concern for them, I'm going to wait for the call here.
Holding, offense number 71. 10-yard penalty and repeat first down.
You brought it up earlier. They're going to evaluate the offensive line and the protection. Okay, where were the breakdowns? Why did they occur? And the next question you ask is, are the receivers able to uncover well enough downfield to present open targets where maybe the ball can get out of his hands quicker? So it's a full evaluation here, and Sean McDermott's coaching staff will definitely be thorough.
Last play of the half, barring something crazy like a defensive penalty. Kurt Menefee and Tony Gonzalez are ready with the halftime show from down on the field. And they will hand it on off. Tavares Cadet, the former New Orleans Saint, among other teams, will run it out, and we will run to the break with the Bengals up on the Bills 20-0. Go to commercial, and after that, Kurt Tony with the halftime show. Enjoy it. Welcome back to Orchard Park. Preseason week number 3. The NFL regular season almost here, and it's 20-0. Bengals lead the Bills. Charles Davis, my partner, is here, and I'm Kevin Burkhardt. And look, it's preseason, so that's the good news if you're a Bills fan. If you're the Bengals fan, you probably wish this counted because their defensive front looks incredible.
It does, and remember, the storyline going into this was about the young quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. That defensive front you just referenced made the storyline their own in the first half. He was under siege right from the beginning, and they got him a number of times.
Yeah, 5 sacks for this Bengals front. They've got a lot of youth there, so it could be a real strength for the team. Andy Dalton was tremendous in the time he played in the game, as the numbers from the half. Yardage, obviously, a big difference. And remember, the day started with a standing ovation for Andy Dalton. Of course, the Bengals win. With the Bills win, that allowed the Bills to get in the playoffs, break their 17-year drought. I think that ovation is now history.
Yeah, and I actually saw a Bengals fan parading through the stands here, holding up a sign that said, thanks Bills fans for the support. We'll make it on our own this year.
Well, Josh Allen, last we saw at the end of the half, remember he took that vicious hit and had to be taken off the field to get checked for any head trauma. Hopefully he's okay. I'm assuming by the fact that he's sitting here with the earpiece and watching, that means that he is. But his day, I'm assuming, is over. Nate Peterman came in to check in and finish the half. Pam Oliver down on the sideline. Hi, Pam.
Hey there, Kevin. Yes, Josh Allen, he has been cleared. He has no concussion, so he is back out. That's good news for Buffalo. When I talked to Sean McDermott about his play, he said that he didn't have any help. These guys weren't going for the uncontested balls. There was poor blocking all the way around. He saw a couple of positives on defense, but that was about it. He just felt like Josh Allen could have got a whole lot more help. Back to you.
Yeah, Pam, I think you're right. I mean, I think Coach is right because that's just been the way that half went. It's hard to judge. Allen did some nice things. Here comes Cincinnati and Phillips, who gets it on out to the 25. This is what he's feeling all day long. So you want to be a quarterback in the NFL, do you?
And I think the interior pressure of Cincinnati is going to be a lot for anyone to deal with this year. Number 99, Andrew Billings. Number 97, Geno Atkins. And then they slide people inside in their sub and nickel packages. A Michael Johnson, a bounce inside. Right? We just saw Willis there. Bounce inside, number 75. So when you see all that pressure coming at them and Carl Lawson cleaning up, you got a lot to deal with to get ready for Cincinnati.
Mark Walton, the rookie running back from Miami, gets his first carry of the night. Was a fourth rounder. Tremaine Edmonds comes in and makes the play. Well, I think it's pretty clear, Charles, just finishing this whole conversation, the Bills' offensive line is now their number one worry because now 2 weeks in a row their ones against the other team's ones got beat. Pretty sound.
Deion Dawkins, there's the starting left tackle, not playing today.
Right.
But it's the interior where most of the pressure is coming and really creating issues for them. So they've got to get that figured out. Who's going to start at center and who's going to shore up the guard spots.
Over the middle and a completion for the Bengals. It is Boyd again. And on point with Barkley on the pass to move the chains for a gain of 21.
You know what Cincinnati has to be very happy about today? They're getting contributions from a number of players. All right, Boyd has played his usual steady. He's been his usual steady self. John Ross has been spectacular at times, even with a couple of drops. Joe Mixon has shown his potential in the open field. And they got some place for Tyler Eifert. That has to feel very good for them.
That certainly is encouraging. As Walton again just nowhere to go. Stacked up nicely by Jordan Poyer. You talked about that secondary for the Bills, Charles, and he's an interesting guy, right? He was an Eagles 7th round draft pick in 2013, and you know it looked like he was going to be the Browns starter in 2016. He had the job. He lacerated his kidney,
and that ended his time in Cleveland. But boy, has he bounced back in a big way here at Buffalo.
2nd and 11. Barkley with pressure over the middle. Another on-target throw and a completion to Trey Carson out of the backfield, and that's another first down for these Bengals.
You know, we have not talked much about the helmet rule. We've talked about it briefly, but I do think that there is so much concern on defensive backs' parts now about making sure the head's in the right place that the middle area is going to be attacked more in the NFL than it has been in a long, long time. I think receivers feel like they can run through there a lot easier.
Barkley on the fake, has time. Beautifully thrown to Erickson, who gets decked, but he holds on. A big hit by Vontae Davis, but a clean hit and a clean catch by Erickson, and good for 20 yards.
I've noticed throughout the preseason, offenses are working the middle of the field because you remember the hits that we grew up on that are no longer part of the game? They don't scare you as much going across the middle now.
It's a really interesting point.
And so now, if you go in there, that gives you the opportunity to make those types of plays, and we're seeing quarterbacks deliver with receivers.
So Barkley has shined in his time, 9 of 12, 113 yards. And first down. Near side, Carson. So let's bring in Dean Blandino, our rules expert, who's in the booth with us. Dean, so take us through this hit and how this applies to the new rule.
So you got two things here. You have a potential hit on a defenseless player. The receiver attempting to catch the pass gets those protections. And you also have the helmet rule. But here, the defender did a great job. Watch him turn his head to the side and lead with the shoulder to make contact to the body of the receiver. That's what the NFL wants. That's a good, clean, physical hit.
Time for Barkley coming for Carson on the wheel and just couldn't haul it in. Pretty good pass.
You remember when we had our conference call with Marvin Lewis, and we asked him about how he was teaching it, and he talked about what we like to teach is near shoulder, near foot, because it takes the head away and the head naturally goes away. Well, that's what Dean just described there. Watch it hit by Vontae Davis. Near shoulder, head goes away naturally. Near foot is where he's launching from. The head naturally goes away. If he comes through with the opposite foot, the head is really more head on and straight up and leads you into the bad shots.
It'll be a third down for Barkley. Going end zone and incomplete. Josh Malone, the intended receiver, but there was Davis who made the big hit, who comes in on the incompletion. And just one final thought, Dean, as we look at the replay. The other thing about this helmet rule is it depends on the posture, right? Because if you're bracing for impact, it's a little different.
Yeah, what they're trying to get away from is that linear posture. If I lower my head to initiate contact with the helmet, but if I'm just bracing myself for the contact, that is not a foul.
It's also big to note. Dean, thanks. Randy Bullock's 2 for 2 on the day. This will be from 40 yards out, and he is 3 for 3. 23-0. This Bengals machine keeps on rolling from Orchard Park. Well, Marvin Lewis is back for his 16th year with the Bengals, but he did not come back with the same staff. They made a ton of changes. Now, Bill Lazor was here on the staff last year, promoted offensive coordinator, but he's the first full year. Everybody else is brand new. I mean, these are major changes to a staff. And we talked to some people with the Bengals, and we talked to Marvin Lewis. Don't know what the record's going to be this year, Charles, and I know you and I feel like I think he's reinvigorated.
That's the way it felt when we spent our time with him. So you and I both independently did a little research with our Cincinnati contacts, and they all corroborated what we said. They said he's very engaged in practice. I think he's enjoying coaching a new core of players and a lot of younger players. I think he enjoys being that type of not just a dad figure, but be able to get back out there and coach these kids up. And now Andy and AJ can lead from the offensive side.
And you know, there's some interesting hires there. Terrell Austin, the defensive coordinator, was a defensive coordinator for the Lions. He was excellent at getting that team to turn the ball over, which the Bengals did not do. And they go back a long way. As Nate Peterman is the quarterback for the Bills. Finished up the first half when Allen had to get checked for a concussion, and starts this one with a completion to Clay. You know, we were talking to Austin, and he said, you know, it's interesting. When Austin was at Pittsburgh, where he played there, he said he did a minority internship with Baltimore, the Ravens. Marvin Lewis was the defensive coordinator there. So their relationship goes all the way back to that.
And Marvin actually joked with Terrell and said, with the number of jobs and places you've been, it's like you've been coaching 75 years before he brought him back here. But very easy reach to go get Terrell Austin, who's done quite well as a coordinator in this league.
Many thought he'd have a head coaching job by now. But now he goes hand in hand with Marvin Lewis. And you know, it really is amazing in any sport to be around this long, right? I mean, only Bill Belichick has been a head coach longer than Marvin Lewis. McCarthy's been there, Sean Payton obviously, but 16 straight years.
Yeah,
that's hard to do.
It's hard to fathom at times. And you remember what John Madden said about coaching. He said 10 years in one place is about the right amount of time before you should probably change. He coached 10 years with the Oakland Raiders and then retired.
3rd down and 2 for Nathan Peterman. Going far side, and he's got a completion over there. It's Benjamin making a good catch over C.J. Goodwin, and we get flags. And let's see what this is all about.
Well, Pam Oliver said at halftime that Sean McDermott, the head coach of the Bills, told her that he didn't think the receivers were fighting for the contested passes. And in this case, Kelvin Benjamin got the memo.
Defense number 24. This penalty has been declined. The result of the play, a completed pass and first down.
Yeah, that's C.J. Goodwin that he went over. But if Sean McDermott's saying my guys weren't fighting for the football, Kelvin Benjamin heard him because he went up between two and fought with Goodwin and uncovered late and made the catch.
28-yard gain to Benjamin. That's the longest play of the day for Buffalo. So 1st and 10, here is Peterman. Gives it to Marcus Murphy. Good cut. Breaks the tackle. Murphy. Good move. And Marcus Murphy out for a first down. And there are 3 flags on the play, and they all came from different directions. So we'll sort this out.
Illegal block in the back. Offense number 19. 10-yard penalty and repeat. First down.
And that's Corey Coleman, who they just acquired from Cleveland, and I don't understand that at all. They teach you when you're blocking, you've got to see the front side of the player. If his back is to you, stay off of him. Well, his back had been turned for easily 5 steps, and he continues to stay there and put his hands on it. That's just not a good football play.
It's been kind of the day for Buffalo, right? Every small positive, they've got a couple steps backward, and that's what they do here. On a 1st and 15, Peterman, I should say, goes far side. And he's got a completion of Murphy. Let's get down the sidelines. Pam Oliver has Andy Dalton.
Yes, I do, Kevin. He's been all smiles all day. Why not? The people in Buffalo loved him, and until you went and scored on him like that. And, you know, you just had a great day. So, Andy, as you guys get closer to the regular season, what are you anticipating about this team this year that is different?
Yeah, I'm excited about our group. We've got a lot of young guys that we feel really special when playmakers for us. Obviously, you saw today with John on the first play, made a great route, great catch, and scored. So, he's just one example of a lot of the young guys that we have. But just really looking forward to the year that we're going to have.
Kevin and Charles made a great point about Marvin, that he just seems invigorated, that he's got new energy, maybe with the changes in the staff around him, but you guys want to get back to the playoffs, and I know he wants to help you guys get there. So what are you seeing differently from a man you're close to?
Yeah, obviously we love having Marvin back. Marvin's been with this organization for such a long time, and for us, he's, you have that consistency of the head coach, you have the consistency of everything with a lot of changes on the coaching staff, and changes with some players, and so, I think, like you said, it's kind of there's a lot of newness, and it's fun. I mean, I think for us, and for me, being in my 8th year now, being in the same system for a long time, it's kind of fun to learn something new and get to try to master a different offense.
What's the takeaway from your experience with Buffalo fans and the contributions and everything that's happened? You know, people are good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just so crazy the support that we've gotten from Buffalo. To turn a touchdown pass that ended up winning the game for us into so much good, to have 18,000 people donate to our foundation, raise over $450,000. I mean, it's nothing that you think's ever going to happen. It's a crazy story, and I mean, you never think you're going to walk into an opposing stadium and get a standing ovation. So that's pretty cool.
Andy Dalton for mayor in Buffalo. Kevin, you heard it here. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Pam, not anymore. After the way he played today. Meanwhile, Jeremy Curley coming down with a big play. So thank you, Andy Dalton and Pam. Great interview. That was fun. And Dalton had a monster day, by the way, 11 of 16, 180 and 2 touchdowns. Here's Curley, Charles.
Yeah, he's one of those pros that understands how to go about his craft. And they're counting on him to be able to teach some of the younger receivers practice habits, being accountable, and making some plays. And he operated out of the slot and made a nice one downfield.
Got a timeout by the Bengals here with 6:58 to go in the 3rd. Bills on the move. Nathan Peterman has them going. Back in a moment. 23-0. It's the Bengals in front of the Bills. Week 3 preseason, NFL on Fox. Buffalo on the move, though. They've got a 1st down and 10 from the Cincinnati 31. Nathan Peterman going to hand off here. And Marcus Murphy making people miss. He's all the way down to the 17-yard line.
Now they're working against Cincinnati's number 2 defense, but they've got a bunch of guys on the team now on the field right now trying to make the team and atone for a really abysmal first half. Good blocking up front gave Marcus Murphy a nice hole. Look at that job right there. Looked like Vlad DeCoste 62 and Jordan Mills 79.
Draw play. Murphy nowhere to go. 2nd down. So this is a really cool story. Something special has happened today. Earlier in the game, we showed you. Here's Mike Pereira, by the way. Mike, good to see you. Battlefields to Ball Fields, your charity, gives scholarships to veterans, active military, puts them into the community as an official. We showed you visit someone here in the Buffalo area yesterday. Since we aired that, what has happened?
10 veterans have applied for scholarship from all over the country. It's absolutely incredible. And for every one of you that did, we will get to you this coming week and get you set up.
That's fantastic.
Peterman gets it to the tight end. It's the big guy, Jason Kroom. Touchdown. Mike, it must be a Buffalo thing. The Bills score, there's charity all day. I love it. That's great news. 17 yards meanwhile as Peterman hit Jason Kroom.
Now, Nathan Peterman went to Tennessee before transferring to Pitt. So he knows Jason Kroom, who he played with at Tennessee. And now they're connecting here in Buffalo. Kroom was a wide receiver, became a tight end his senior year at Tennessee. And we had a nice conversation in pregame with Rob Boris, the tight ends coach of Buffalo. And he said, keep an eye on number 80. He is really making progress as a receiving tight end. As he takes off there, I think he's in because he never stepped out of bounds before crossing the line.
Dean Blandino says thumbs up. Mike is taking the headset off. We got more rules people in the box than everyone else, Charles. We're set. Can we do this every week, guys?
We got the right people.
We'll never have a problem with calls. We have Mike and Dean with us every single week in the booth. I like the way this is set up. Stephen Hauschka with the extra points. And the Bills get some life. Nathan Peterman gives it to him. Who knows? Maybe he's your week 1 starter. Some people hoping that's the case here in Buffalo. So Nathan Peterman gives the Bills a little life. Nice start here in the third quarter. Josh Allen's numbers, again, that doesn't tell the whole story. 5 sacks in the first team defensive line, annihilating the Bills offensive line. So that's part of it. Those guys are out. But Peterman looks sharp, and he's got a chance in this quarterback competition. A.J. McCarron, not pictured, not going to play today.
And Peterman has been sharp the entire camp. And when you talk with some people around the Bills organization, they'll tell you that in off-season, in OTAs and minicamp, they thought that he outplayed. Many people think that he outplayed A.J. McCarron during that time frame.
This fall, Thursday Night Football. Well, it's got a new network. It's a new home. It's right here on Fox. We've got marquee matchups. Looking forward to that. They are the best in Thursday night history, too. Get ready for primetime football on Thursday nights like you've never seen as we get it going. September 27th on Fox.
That's going to be a heck of a time there. Joe and Troy holding it down in the booth. Aaron and Christina Pink on the sidelines. They're going to have a blast.
Mike Pereira will be there on Thursdays.
Mike doesn't take any days off, does he?
No, Mike never takes days off. Walt out of the backfield. First down, penalty flag flies.
I think that he's a heck of a pickup for Cincinnati in the 4th round, Mark Walton.
He's an interesting story, Charles. You know, when the guys, fall down the draft supposed to be higher, there's always some kind of reason, right? Well, his is
pass interference, offense, number 12, 10-yard penalty, and repeat, first down.
His is an ankle injury that really killed his year last year.
That looks like right now cramps.
Yeah.
The way he's pulling back on his feet. But you're exactly right. He was headed towards breaking Willis McGahee's single season rushing rate. He was well ahead of pace in the first 4 games before the ankle injury.
Right.
And in those games, he was playing about half a game at the time. I mean, he was piling it up because they were blowing people out. And the course of their season changed a lot because of not having Mark Walton. I think Cincinnati got a steal with him in the 4th.
We'll see if he comes back in. Trey Carson is the running back in there right now. He was on IR all of last year with a groin injury. And a little shimmy shake, and he gets up to the 23-yard line. The Bengals' first 2 runners are Joe Mixon and Giovanni Bernard, and then it's who after that. Walton certainly looks like he would be the 3, and then you got guys trying to make the team.
Trey Carson, Brian Hill, who was on the team last year, also out of Wyoming, played with Josh Allen there. Quentin Flowers is an interesting guy. Quarterback at USF, University of South Florida, trying to make it as a running back in the league now.
Carson again, running hard through the line. First down as he lowers the shoulder and moves the chains for Cincinnati. Ran right over Raphael Bush.
How about the offensive line on this one? Because he really had, look, there was no hesitation when you look at the gap he gets. Look at that right there. So he's able to slide through that hole very easily. Didn't have to throttle down. Able to just get into the secondary and finish the run. Cedric Ogbuehi, number 70, with that last block to give him a sliver of space.
Walton had to leave the field, so hopefully he's okay. Hopefully it is just cramps. Barkley, blitz is picked up, throws, knocked it in. Yeah, it's intercepted, it's Bush. He's got it. Looking for blocks. Raphael Bush still going. Gets a block. Down to the 25, and this crowd comes to life.
This ball's a little high, but at first blush, let's see what the receiver does. Doesn't get his hands up in time. I'm not sure when he started to look for the football. That's Auden Tate from Florida State, who's been creating a lot of splash plays in practice, but it was almost like he wasn't aware that the ball was coming and definitely wasn't prepared for it. And his error tipped the ball up in the air for Raphael Bush. I mean, if you're running that route as a slant inside, you got to be prepared for that ball to emerge at any point.
Puts the Bills in great field position. Peterman on the fake. Over the middle, he's got a completion. And again, he goes back to his tight end. It's Kroom. And here they hurry to the line.
And you keep hearing that you're going to hear the term all year long, RPO, run pass option, and quarterbacks getting the ball in their hands quickly. And the middle of the field in the NFL appears to be open for business. And Jason Kroom took advantage right there.
He was on the practice squad last year. Charles Toja, former wide receiver, making his case here today. On a 1st and goal, nothing. As Cadets nowhere to run. Josh Shaw in on the tackle. Bills have played better in this second half. Second team against second team for the most part. Nathan Peterman is laying in the weeds in this quarterback battle.
But the Bills have kept their first offensive line in the game.
Yes.
They're trying their best to give these quarterbacks their best look. Plus, they needed to atone for a very difficult first half.
I was going to say the way they played in the first half. Peterman going end zone, incomplete. We got a penalty flag. Zay Jones claims he was held, and maybe he was. It was C.J. Goodwin on the coverage.
Watch Jones, number 11 in white, working inside. And right there, he's got a full hold of him. Is that C.J. Goodwin? Yes, it is, number 24.
Pass interference. Defense, number 24. As a foul occurred in the end zone, the ball will be placed at the 1-yard line and an automatic first down.
You know what would be really nice for Buffalo right now with this offensive line who's had their struggles? To be able to carve a hole in the defensive front of Cincinnati and power run it into the end zone. Let's see if they get that accomplished.
Got 3 tight ends in the game. Cadet, the running back, give it to him. Fighting, and not there. He's going to be just shy of the goal line. It'll be 2nd and goal.
So give Cincinnati credit. They didn't get knocked off the ball. And that's what you're looking for. When you've had a tough day like Buffalo, as an offensive lineman, you want nothing more than to fire off and hit someone and get some frustrations out. But they couldn't create enough of a push to give their running back a chance to get into the end zone. That's got to be a little bit frustrating for them. Well played by Cincinnati, but Buffalo needs something good here to feel a little bit better.
Again, they go with that jumbo package. 3 tight ends in the game. Again, they'll run. It's Cadet diving. Touchdown.
So if you're Juan Castillo, the offensive line coach of the Buffalo Bills, this feels a little bit better. Ryan Groy, 72. John Miller, 76. Jordan Mills, 79. And look at that. They created some space. Ball's popped out, but he does recover it in the end zone, does Cadet. So Dean, I believe that's a touchdown, isn't it? Yes. See, the ball's popped out right there by number 51, Brandon Bell, but Travis Cadet able to fall on the football in the end zone.
So, the interception from Raphael Bush. Bills converted into a touchdown, and they're going to go for 2.
Dean, what if that had been a 4th down play? Would that still have counted in the end zone?
It still would have counted because it was the fumbling player that recovered his own fumble.
Thank you.
That's Cadet in motion. Peterman gives it to him. Stacked up. And the 2-point conversion is no good. And so it remains a 10-point lead for the Bengals. The Bills have some life for the hometown fans here. The interception off the tip by Bush sets it up. And then Cadet punches it home. Nathan Peterman, Bills showing some offense in the second half, as Charles pointed out, behind the first-team offensive line. They had such a rough first half. They stayed out there against the Bengals' second-team defense, but they have performed much better. Of course, they got the turnover. Raphael Bush off a tip ball, interception. So we got a game, 23-13 here with 1:38 to go in the third quarter.
And on the 2-point conversion play when Nathan Peterman handed it off inside.
Yeah.
You know, if that's a quarterback zone read, if he pulls that and takes it to the corner, he's got more than a good chance of getting in on that. I think he just made the wrong read, handing it off inside.
I have to say, Charles, preseason week 3, I know some of them have left. The crowd here has been really great today. I mean, the stadium was almost full. Here is the run back. Whitfield is taken down, and here come multiple flags, and the ball is loose. But I have a feeling this one is going to be staying with Cincinnati with the penalty. Franks ended up recovering the fumble for Cincinnati anyway. So we'll unfold all of this.
Kermit Whitfield. And you see right there, Levi Wallace yanking at the football. Were his knees down before the ball came out? I think that they were.
During the return of the kick, holding, receiving team number 98. 10-yard penalty, a first down.
So it'll remain Bengals ball. They recovered after the penalty. They move it back. College football is back. We know that. Saturday on Fox, full day of action. As Lane Kiffin's Florida Atlantic facing 7th-ranked Oklahoma.
That's a big-time game right there because it's champion versus champion. What I mean by that is Florida Atlantic won Conference USA last year and are the overwhelming favorite to win it again. And Oklahoma has UCLA and Chip Kelly's Bruins coming down the next week.
So give me.
Will they look past FAU?
Can't wait. College football is back. First down. We're going to hand it off to Brian Hill. We're going to hand it off to Pam Oliver, who's down with the Bills' monstrous defensive lineman and leader, Kyle Williams.
Yes, I am. Kyle Williams, they call you the heart and soul of this Buffalo team, and 13 seasons you've seen a lot. Tell me if this team is truly turning a corner, or is it all kind of smoke and mirrors?
I think we're doing good. I think we've got some good pieces in place, specifically the GM and the head coach. You know, their vision, their clarity for what they want, bringing in the type of guys they want, and really the kind of guys that we have on our team, on our roster, the way that they work. You know, no matter, things are going to ebb and flow, they're going to go up and down, but they're up for the challenge every day, and it's enjoyable to work with guys like that.
You also said you're really effusive in your praise of Sean. What does he do right?
I think more than anything, Sean is very clear and consistent with what he wants from you. He's honest and direct. So that's really all you can ask for as a player and as a man. And as a guy who's been around a lot and been around a lot of different people, I can appreciate that.
Also, you were telling us a little bit just about your decision to come back. You had an opportunity to go other places for more money. You decided to stay in Buffalo for less because it's special.
There's something about this place, and you have people that come and they didn't want to come, and then when it's time to leave, they don't want to leave. Luckily, I haven't had to face that. You know, I've been here 13 years. It's a place that my family and I can call home, that has a piece of our heart, and I consider it a true blessing to have been here that long.
It was a wow moment, I think, in our meetings when you talked about your favorite play as a football player. You can pinpoint it. Obviously, it was that locker room last year.
Yeah, it was such a great experience, and I think you can ask anyone that was in that locker room, you know, guys that have won world championships, guys that have won national championships, done a lot of different things. When asked, they were like, that's my favorite moment for my football career. It was such a unique moment that I obviously got to share with my sons, and obviously all the guys in the locker room. It was great. It was such a fun time.
It was wonderful. Thanks so much, Kyle.
Thank you. Anytime.
All right, back to you guys.
Pam, thanks. It's great. Third down for Cincinnati. Barkley, oh, it's dropped. You couldn't place it any better to Ethan Carter, who would have gotten maybe 20 more yards after that, if not more. All it is an incomplete pass for Cincinnati.
Vision might have been obscured just a little bit with the hand going up there. Tanner Vallejo, the linebacker out of Boise State. Did that throw off the concentration? Still should have been a catch by Ethan Carter as he's trying to make this team this year.
Tie up that interview with Pam. Kyle Williams is a gem. I mean, 5 Pro Bowls. He's a great player. He's a great leader. And Charles, outside of quarterbacks, how many guys stay on that position 13 years? That's incredibly difficult.
That's very difficult. And one of the things he told us in the meeting is, you see this punt get away?
McLeod. Flags flying. And McLeod across the 40, which will take us to the end of the third quarter, but we have to see what the penalties are.
He talks about his love for Buffalo. He said, with this team, I wanted to set the tone for what we do daily, every day when it comes to the facility.
Yeah, 13 years, same team in that position. And he had one great line, too. He's got 5 kids. They hit each other.
Yeah, so that's Bengal on Bengal crime right there. So you can pick up that flag if indeed they threw that one. I think they get a block in the back elsewhere.
Illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 40, 10-yard penalty and first down.
There it is. Legal block in the back.
That's Tanner Vallejo, who affected the pass before and comes back with a penalty on punt return.
So that'll take us to the end of the third quarter. Finish. Kyle Williams said, worst thing you do in my house? Say you're a Patriots fan. How do you not love Kyle Williams? End of 3. Cincinnati 23. Buffalo 13. Back for the fourth. Bengals dominated the first half with their starters in. Got a ton of pressure on Josh Allen, who got the start today. That was the story of that first half. 5 sacks on Allen. And then in the second half, Nathan Peterman has given this Bills offense a little bit of a boost. Bengals, for the most part, with second-teamers on D out there, but they've looked much better. And Peterman remains in. We've got ourselves a 10-point game back here in Orchard Park. Coming near side again quickly. It's Corey Coleman, and that's not going to go anywhere.
And expect Peterman to carry the rest of the game. And A.J. McCarron still sore from the injury. Even though it wasn't a broken collarbone, I think Sean McDermott told us he'll be treated like an emergency quarterback. He can play if he has to, but they don't want to put him out there.
So now if you're Sean McDermott, when do you make the announcement? When do you make the decision, right? Because next week's game is meaningless in the preseason.
Yeah, I would, listen, I would make it as soon as possible after this one to give my team a chance to adjust and know that that's going to be my starting quarterback and give him 2 weeks of work going in.
Second down. Peterman. And incomplete. So it'll be a third down and 14. Third down and 14. So there's A.J. McCarron on your left. Josh Allen on your right. And again, I go back to Sean McDermott, when we were asking about this whole quarterback thing, and Pam told him to look into her eyes and tell her the truth. And he talked about McCarron, said this: he just about won a playoff game versus Pittsburgh. There's a lot of comfort in that for me. And I'll add, Charles, one more thing after the play. 3rd and 14, over the middle, on target, and a beauty of a throw. An absolute dart to Brandon Riley, who hauls it in at the 49. He's going to pick up 23. The first 4 games for Buffalo, incredibly difficult. And I think that leans towards McCarron, too.
5 of the first 7 on the road. That was really nice job by Peterman, looking to the left and then coming back to his right look to his left to move the defensive backs in that direction and open up space for Brandon Riley, and then he throws a dart.
They're going to keep on going for this Bills offense. Keith Ford has it for a 9-yard gain.
Listen, all three quarterbacks are in play, Kevin. If Sean McDermott says, I want to go with experience, to me, that you can only say A.J. McCarron has the experience because he's played in a playoff game. Peterman is, it's really a bet about the equivalent of one full game, right? So that's kind of a wash with him and Allen. If you're picking it for another reason, you'll have to say that.
Agreed. Short gain on the play to Ford. Close to a first down, should have it. We talked about the schedule for the Bills. It is not easy. I mean, they were not kind to the Bills after getting back to the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. I mean, you're away to start at Baltimore. The Chargers, one of the best pass rushers in the league. Minnesota was the best D in the league last year. Oh, and then you're at Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that's tough.
And you get Tennessee at home, who was a playoff team last year. Houston gets all their guys back who were hurt last year, including J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson. Very difficult schedule.
Tipped at the line, incomplete. As Josh Chupo, man that got the hand on it, playing in his first game of the preseason, had been out with a knee injury.
Baltimore is so desperate. They've missed the playoffs 4 out of the last 5 years. Desperate to get back. This is a big move for them. But, going back to who's going to play quarterback, you can't remove Josh Allen from this today because I still think he's got the poise to handle a difficult situation. He showed that. So that's not why you're removing him. So I'm just glad I'm not Sean McDermott having to make this decision.
Ooh, dangerous looking pass. Tony McRae got a good jump on it, just couldn't haul it in. You heard Kyle Williams, Charles, just overall assessing the Bills as we look at this nearly interception. He talked about McDermott, and he said the GM. That's Brandon Beane, who was with Carolina for years in their front office, and he and McDermott both came in here, and now Beane running a team for the first time. Think about this if you're the Bills. Yes, last year was euphoria back in the playoffs, so good things. No matter what happens this year, this team right now, they have a lot of dead money on their salary cap.
Yes.
It all comes off after this year. And the next couple years going forward, they're going to have a young quarterback, a young middle linebacker,
infraction,
a good head coach.
Number 75, a 5-yard penalty.
And maybe the most cap room in the NFL after that. That's a pretty good formula.
A tremendous fan base. You heard Kyle Williams talk about Buffalo's a place, if you don't know it, you always think, God, I don't want to go there. But once you're there, you don't want to leave. So you got that to sell. I mean, what we saw today with Andy Dalton, you can sell that for your fan base, and this is the support that you would get as a Buffalo Bill. So all those things you're talking about are right on target, but this year is going to be a tougher one.
Peterman going to run. There is a flag behind the play. So obviously it's a first down if it counts, but let's see.
Thrown by the referee is typically a hold.
Holding, offense, number 65, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's on Ike Butker. Yep, there it is.
Yep, there's the takedown. Takes down Ryan Glasgow, who's played well for them. Another inside pass rusher. Gives them some depth in that area and just rotate people and keep coming at you in waves. We haven't even really talked about Sam Hubbard, the draft pick from Cincinnati and Ohio State, who they've really liked in preseason camp, number 94 in black.
So it'll be a 3rd and 15. Peterman looking, and there's nothing there. So he's just going to roll on up to the 41 and step out of bounds. It'll be a 4th down and long is coming up, and John Ryan coming on a punt. Bills have 2 punters right now. They just signed John Ryan, the longtime Seattle Seahawk, to compete with Colton Schmidt. And I think that job is wide open.
Yeah, and he got cut in Seattle because they drafted Michael Dixon out of Texas, and he competed with him. But the youngster got a monster leg, and he won the battle. He'll come here to try and take Colton Schmidt's job.
Bounces at the 1, but bounces into the end zone for a touchback, and Ryan not pleased about that. So who will it be for the Bills? Will it be Allen at the helm, or Peterman, or McCarron? Someone's got to make a tough choice. 11:26 to go in this one from Orchard Park. Bengals lead the Bills 23-13. Jeff Driscoll in at quarterback now for Cincinnati, third quarterback of the day. He's going to connect with Alex Erickson. So Driscoll getting some time today as Dalton started, was terrific. Barkley looked very, very sharp as his backup. And now we'll see Driscoll, third-year man out of Louisiana Tech, who was on injured reserve all year last year with a hand injury.
Began his career at the University of Florida. Was the Gatorade, or one of the top, national player of the year organizations coming out of high school. You never believe, I'll tell you after his play.
Carson to the 40.
So he comes out, okay, and he is in Orlando, Florida. I believe at Oviedo High School. Or he was at Haggerty High School, excuse me. Oviedo High School has another quarterback that people are recruiting as a tight end. More of an afterthought. Kid by the name of Blake Bortles. Driscoll goes to Florida as one of the top recruits in the country. Doesn't work there, goes to Louisiana Tech. He's in the league now. But Bortles, lightly recruited, goes to UCF and is now leading the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Wow. Driscoll is going to air it out. He's got time, and air it out he does, but to the sideline, incomplete. And a third down and 7 is coming up.
He's an excellent athlete, and a lot of teams like to keep 2 quarterbacks. Cincinnati kept 3 last year. Are they going to do that again? And if so, Driscoll would be that guy. Did you see that shot right there? It may be preseason, but that's a shot of guys who had a very good day and are able to soak it in. That's what the great baseball pitcher Johnny Sain used to call the cool of the evening feeling. A job well done, and you just kick back and enjoy it.
Dalton Driscoll on a third down. See, we showed Dalton, and now it's the preseason, and I'm confused. Here's what happens, Joe. Preseason for announcers, too, Mason Schreck over the middle.
Mason Schreck, the tight end, gets a catch coming back home.
Yep.
Went to the University of Buffalo. And able to show the hometown fans he's still got it, even though he's wearing the uniform of the Bengals.
Here's Trey Carson. Good run. Carson down to the 40. Well, as the week 1 of the NFL season nears, some storylines around the AFC. Andrew Luck back. Boy, is it good to see him back from all the shoulder issues he had for the Colts. John Gruden on the sidelines again, coaching the Raiders. And then the Jags. Oh, look, they were great last year. What will they be this year? A lot of new QBs. Mahomes with that rocket arm. Allen maybe here. Darnold looks like he started in New York. And then Keenum, but a great year in Minnesota, is in Denver. And a big pull here from Brian Hill, who's got a first down for Cincinnati. Let me start with Jacksonville. Marquise Lee hurt yesterday. I didn't see a report today, but it did not look like a good injury. It's a big issue for them. He was a terrific wideout for that team last year.
And overarching it is this a team built to handle expectations? We've seen a little fraying at the edges in preseason. Ngakoue and Dante Fowler's fight. Jalen Ramsey being suspended for his confrontation with a reporter, taking offense to them reporting it. Is this team going to be able to handle those expectations? It's a little bit different this year, people coming at them.
Here's Quentin Flowers, rookie from South Florida. His first carry, dances his way down to the 25. Yeah, it's all fair questions with them. I think one thing is safe after showing that little preview. I just would like to know what the number is on how many plays of over 60 yards it's going to be from Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill.
We've seen it already happen in preseason. Look, here's the thing. It is hard to overthrow Tyreek Hill, and it's very easy to underthrow him. But Patrick Mahomes, he'll be up to the challenge to go ahead and air it out and see if he can run under it.
Sure will. Driscoll has time. Near side, he's got a man wide open. Diving ball up, and it goes out of bounds at the 2. What a wild play. Mason Schreck with the catch, and then got popped. And the ball was fumbled out of bounds.
He goes airborne, and nice tackle. 1-2. So Borders, number 41, is the one that popped it out.
There was a fumble on the play. However, once fumbled, the ball went backwards and out of bounds at the 2-yard line. The ball will belong to Cincinnati. First down.
So the first hit was Marlowe, number 31. But the second hit by Borders was textbook. That's exactly what the league is looking for. That was a shoulder going into the football. Because I know that when I played, you know what we were taught? Put your face mask on the football, young man. Put your face mask on the football. Now we're saying put your shoulder on the football to pop it free. And that was textbook. So the message is, it's out there, and guys are trying to adhere to it.
Breon Borders made the hit. However, it's a 1st and goal for Cincinnati. When it's all said and done, they'll get it to Flowers. And he's going to be stopped at the 1. 2nd and goal for Cincinnati. Leslie Frazier, 2nd year defensive coordinator for these Buffalo Bills.
Former, yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
I was going to say calling the plays as well.
Yeah, former head coach of the Minnesota Vikings and a terrific player for the Chicago Bears.
Tipped at the line, incomplete. Hey, Sean McDermott, you asked him, who's handling the play calling, who does that, because McDermott's the defensive guy.
Yeah, so you figure he's got to have a hand in it, right?
But he said, no, I call the good ones. Leslie handles everyone else.
Anything else that doesn't work, Leslie called it.
He was only kidding, though, because it is Frazier to call it. McDermott would say, hey, every once in a while, something during the game, I'll say something, but it's Frazier's game to call.
I like what he said about, because he said, I've been in that position before, and you can't call plays, and then the head coach jumps in and says, I'll take this one. You've got to allow him to have the confidence to call the game.
Slant is incomplete. They try to get Auden Tate. They couldn't find him as Levi Wallace was there. And a 4th and goal for the Bengals. Looks like they'll try a kick.
You know, if you're a Bills fan, you saw plenty of this last year. The numbers weren't overly impressive on defense. They were 26th overall in total defense. You know, and they were 31st in the league in sacks. So when you look at everything, you say, how did they pull it off? Takeaways. They made plays when they had to.
You're right.
That was another example there. They had 1st and goal in there, and they couldn't get it in.
Jonathan Brown, who had a 55-yard field goal at Dallas last week. 19-yard field goal attempt for him, and this may look like not a big deal. Kid had never played in a football game, until 2 weeks ago. He's a soccer player from Louisville. I wonder if he'll find a job. Not sure it'll be here. Anyway, 26-13 Bengals in the 4th. Well, there's always time for autographs, right? I mean, even in the 4th quarter of a game, it is the preseason, and the players are playing, so the mascots are around.
No doubt.
So that's what we got.
You talk about tough mascot. With this humidity, wearing that bad boy, you got to give it up.
Yeah, 26-13 Bengals leading the Bills. 6:09 to play in this one from Orchard Park, New York.
My man's got a leg now.
Charles, today it's a sad day across America. Flag here at half-mast because of the death of Senator John McCain, a war hero, a great American, finally passed away due to brain cancer. They had a moment of silence before the game, and we remember a great man, John McCain.
He's a man who touched people, and you know, politics gets into everything, but across every aisle, it didn't matter. He was a person who cared about his country, loved his country, bottom line, and served it honorably. And all of us can only hope to serve the way that he did in our daily lives.
Yeah. Well said, Charles. Pass is complete to Logan Thomas, who's a fascinating study. Guy was a former quarterback, Charles. You don't see the quarterback to tight end switch very often, and he was a good quarterback at Virginia Tech.
I was here at practice on Friday.
Yeah.
And to conclude practice, they have one competition play, offense, defense. Logan Thomas played quarterback on that competition play and threw a touchdown pass to finish off the day. So he still got it.
I love it. Let's go down to Pam Oliver. Pam, what do you got?
Hey there, Kevin. I'm here with A.J. Green. You probably heard of him. After last season, A.J., I know you weren't really pleased with your season. You took inventory. What did you come away with in terms of some things that you wanted to do better?
For me, the biggest thing, during my whole career, I've been the, same guy throughout my whole career. Last year I got a little frustrated. And that's not me. So this year I came
because things weren't going well offensively.
Right, exactly. So this year, I just letting the game, come to me. Talk to some of my older guys, Larry, another mentor of mine. Talk to him. Just I got to let the game come to me. Don't get so frustrated. Enjoy playing football again. So.
What do you think you'll enjoy with this offense now? Bill Lazor's back as the offensive coordinator. You got some new position coaches. What are you excited about in terms of that side of the ball?
I'm just excited to get back out there with some of these new guys that we have. With John, Tyler, got a new receiver coach, so it's more a little more energy, a little more, a little bit oomph in the room. So with these young guys, but I'm just excited to get back out there, man, and play football.
We can't wait to see you. Thanks a lot, AJ.
Thank you.
Okay, back to you.
Thank you. Nice to see you again.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Everybody loves Pam Oliver, right? I mean, come on.
How can you not?
Exactly. Pam, thanks. AJ, thanks. Bill Lazor came on as the offensive coordinator after the Bengals were shut out the first 2 weeks last year. But this is his first full year. And just by talking to the guys, it's like it feels like it's a lot different because he got to install what he wanted.
Yeah, because when you think about this
Ball
offense.
Start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
So you go back to Hugh Jackson, Jay Gruden, Hugh Jackson. Similar offense. It's a lot of verbiage, same verbiage, a lot of system put in place. And Bill Lazor, as you mentioned, this offseason drastically changed it from verbiage to what they want to get done, how they want to attack. And I think that's energized Andy Dalton as well. It's a new way of doing things.
Knocked away as Peterman tries to hook up with Riley. McCray for Cincinnati. Well, as we've been saying, Dean Blandino, our rules expert, is here with us, and he's been here in the booth all day long. And Dean, you said this in the first half. We were talking about the new helmet rule. Can't initiate contact with your helmet. We got a little crazy because of how much it was called the first couple of weeks, but it's changing this week, right?
Yeah, I think the competition committee had a conference call on Wednesday, and they clarified that incidental or inadvertent contact would not be a foul. And I think that's what we're seeing this week. 51 fouls first 2 weeks, only 9 through 14 games, and we're almost done with the 15th game today.
And none today in this game, right?
And Dean, we haven't talked about it today, but the new kickoff rule, because people keep talking about this being a high-speed collision play, and this is where we've worried about the concussions, and they've changed it to where I believe it's much more like a punt play. And I think this is vital because I don't think football is football without starting with a kickoff, and I do not want to see it go away, and I think we're off to a good start.
I think a lot of people feel that way, Charles. I think most people feel football should start with a kickoff, and I think the league is looking at ways to keep this play in the game.
And so far in the early returns, Dean, I know it's preseason, but it appears to me that we have less of those high-speed collisions because the wedges are gone, right? You have that no contact zone that we have, and there seems to be more open space, and it's going to be tougher for teams to cover. But I have seen in this last week, the kickoff coverage teams have gotten better. They've adjusted too.
Flag flies as Peterman hits Keith Ford. Now that'll be another one of those rules that is worth watching. Talked about that sub zone, right? And there's no double teams. You can't. So there's a lot of things to look. They're trying to get head injuries out of the game, right?
And that's what we want.
Dean, that's what we're trying to do.
That's
correct?
it. The bottom line is the kickoff has had a higher rate of head injuries than other plays. So what can we do to make this a safer play? They got special teams coaches together, former players, former executives, officials to talk about how can we change the play, keep it in the game, keep the foundation the same,
Personal
and make
foul.
it safer.
Offense number 60, illegal peelback block. 15-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
So Dean, when they say illegal peelback block, if you're approaching the end zone, right, and you come back towards the line of scrimmage to block someone, that's usually where you've got an illegal contact, correct?
As a blocker, you can't go back toward your own goal line.
So watch right here. Watch him.
Now, if he peels back toward his own goal line and goes below the waist. Now that's a close one because it looked like it might have been on the hip.
Yes.
I think for a foul, you really want that to be below the waist.
Okay. So that's one, again, preseason, maybe the flag is thrown to alert people that can be an issue later, but in the regular season, that might not be a foul.
Absolutely. What the league will do is take that play, show it to the game officials, and say that contact is above the waist. That's not something we want called going forward.
Great.
Meanwhile, Dean, before we let you go, we've kind of buried the lead here. Our hotel has a robot in it.
Yes. Okay. You had to bring up the robot.
No, I had to, because you don't often stay in a hotel with a robot in it.
And I had no idea.
Well, you're behind the times, Charles.
Thank you.
So you call down to the front desk if you say you need a razor or shaving cream, whatever it may be, and the robot brings it up to you. And we get a flag flying here as a catch by Keith Tobridge. And, Dean, I'm curious, what happened today when you called down for an item from the front desk?
So I had been hearing about the robot. Everybody's talking about the robot. So I called down for some toothpaste, and some dude shows up at my door. And nothing against him, nice guy, but I wanted to see the robot. And so he gave me his toothpaste, the toothpaste. So I called back, and I asked for some shaving cream, and this time no one showed up. I didn't even get any response. I got no response. And Kevin has had 2 trips from the robot. So apparently it's going to Kevin's room, not coming to mine.
I got to be honest, I dropped my toothbrush this morning on the floor, and I wasn't mad about it because I figured the robot would bring me one. And sure enough, it did. I felt great about my day after that.
Yeah, well, when we get back to the hotel, I'm calling the robot.
Okay.
This is a true story, by the way. There is a legitimate robot at the hotel.
Can you tell we are in preseason? We are talking about a robot. All right. When regular season begins,
we won't talk about.
But I will tell you this: Adam Redmond, okay, who's playing in this game, who got that foul about the hip. You know what his nickname is? Adam Bot.
Oh gosh.
Because of the way it goes. So there you go. Full circle, folks.
Dean, thanks. Great having you in the booth. Talk about the new rules in the league this year. Here's Peter. First down. Coming near side. It's Phillips. Cam Phillips, who makes the grab.
Okay, but see, the thing about it, and I'll finish here, Dean didn't even need toothpaste.
He
just wanted to see the robot.
Forward, and he's down to the 11. The Bills continue to motor with 3:55 to go in the ball game.
We're going to go faster here. Nathan Peterman operating almost like a point guard in basketball on a fast break offense. Get the ball out of his hands, dish it to the right people.
Keith Ford again. Big hole right side, down inside the 5. The Bills down 13. Peterman's got the tempo going. Trying to get this team in the end zone again. Wonder if the robot can throw a football. 2nd and 4. Trouble. Peterman. He is taken down. Nowhere to escape to that time. Trayvon Henderson is the guy that came in to get the sack from the secondary.
And Trayvon Henderson's at the University of Hawaii. My first exposure to him was at the Senior Bowl last year, where he came and played and had a pretty decent week. Was surprised that he wasn't drafted, but I hear he's having a very nice camp for Cincinnati.
3rd and 13. Over the middle, complete. It's Thomas, but he's going to be shy of a first down. Needed to get down to the 2. He's at about the 7. And a 4th down coming up. Can't see why the Bills wouldn't go, and they will.
That was a nice tackle in the open field by Trayvon Henderson as well, taking on the big monster of 6'6", 250-pound Logan Thomas.
Fourth down. Peterman lofted. End zone incomplete. He was trying to get to Ray McLeod, but couldn't do it as Tony McRae on the coverage, and we've hit the 2-minute warning. Bengals lead their ball. Back in a moment. New Era Field in Orchard Park, Western New York, home of the Buffalo Bills. Good crowd today. Preseason game week 3, more than you can ask for. And it's a preseason game. See some good, you see some bad. Connections with these two teams, yeah. Bengals fans say it will make it on order, meaning the playoffs this year. Bengals take over, 2 minutes to go. 26-13, they lead it here today. And they look to run out the clock. Quick break for us. Back for the finish. More autographs? Storylines in the NFC. Kirk Cousins, quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. Charles will be there week 1 against that man, Jimmy G, and the 49ers. That's a heck of a game. Look forward to it. The Rams were great last year. They may have gotten even better with a bunch of trades, big-name players. Seahawks retooling. The storylines, those among many in the NFC, as some of these Bills fans still here just enjoying the day, enjoying the weather. And I have a couple updates. First of all, our buddy Brad Nessler reached out. He wants a robot in all of his hotels this year to travel.
Is he going to get in his contract?
Number 2, this is a great story from Mike Pereira. We showed you earlier in the day about his Battlefields to Ball Fields charity, right? Scholarships to vets, active military, putting them as officials into the community. Since we ran that piece when Mike we went out and visited the community yesterday. Mike, what's the number up to now? Is it 50 what? 56 new applicants for scholarships for the charity today.
Mike came on camera with us at the time it was 10.
It's unbelievable. That's just
phenomenal.
So great.
And phenomenal job, Mike, you and your organization. These men and women replenishing the officials' ranks, and they'll do a fantastic job. Fantastic. And let's be honest about it. We need them. We need them for our sports to continue.
3rd down and 4 for Cincinnati. Driscoll looking to throw. He's got a man wide open, and it's complete to Mason Schreck. And a late penalty, a late couple of flags. And Schreck is down.
As he was sliding, I think a defender launched. And let's take a look. And when I say launch, he was already starting to tackle, and we end up with that helmet contact. Now that looks like helmet to helmet. That could have been any part of Schreck at that point with the helmet coming into him.
Defense number 31, unnecessary roughness. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play and a 1st down.
But Dean, am I wrong though, saying that Marlowe was trying to do the right thing? That looked like he was trying to put a shoulder into him, and he ends up in the head area.
Yeah, so this is the runner that slides, gives himself up. So when he's on the ground like that, he's going to get defensive player protection. You can't hit him in the head neck area with any part of your body, right. Helmet, shoulder, forearm. Looked like he was trying to do the right thing, but he just got too much of that head neck area.
Yeah.
It's a vicious
It's a tough
hit because of the way his head and neck reacted there. And we were just talking earlier how it's been a clean game. The hitting had some situations where the hits have been clean.
The hard part, though, Dean,
well, that's good
for
news.
Everyone,
really good news.
It is. It's great to see him. The hard part is when they give themselves up and whether a player's already started to launch in his tackle attempt.
That is the hard part. We've always, in the tapes, when I was at the league office, we told the runners, especially the quarterbacks, to slide early.
Yeah.
Because if the defender's already committed, you can still be hit. Not in the head neck area,
right.
But you can still be hit.
And so that one might have been okay if it hadn't been head neck area.
Correct.
Well, that was a good sight to see Mason Schreck get up and walk and seem to shake that off. We've got 1:40 left in this game. Bengals with the 1st down, and Flowers just trying to stay in bounds and run the clock. Andy Dalton, heck of a day. His charity giving back to a local hospital here in Buffalo, their pediatric cancer unit. After all, the Bills community supported him and his foundation. Then he went out in the field and was great. 11 of 16, 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. Andy's wife, Jordan, part of the presentation earlier today. He got a standing ovation. Just a really touching all-around story from everyone involved. Just great stuff.
What if this had been a regular season game and he came in here and put out this kind of performance after that?
Well, I don't think he's getting any more standing ovations.
The ovation this had been a regular season game, it might have turned a lot quicker, huh?
If this were week 10 of the regular season, I'm not sure he's getting that either. But it worked out in a cool way today for Dalton.
And for the fans of Buffalo. And obviously for the charities.
Bengals start their schedule at Andrew Luck and the Colts, and then Baltimore, at Carolina, at Atlanta.
Look at that, though. 3 of the first 4 on the road.
You know, it's interesting, though. Marvin Lewis had a great line talking to us the other day. He said, you know what? We just want to stay under the radar.
And we're not helping him. Because he's got a spring in his step, and he's got a little gleam in his eye like he knows a little something about this team that maybe the rest of us didn't.
It's, you know, Charles, you know it's hard to read anything out of these preseason games sometimes. But if I could take one thing out of today, Bengals have a chance to have a special pass rush on that team.
Oh, there's no doubt. Whoever they play will have a real tough time getting ready because they have speed off the edge. But that's interior push with a Billings, right? With a Geno Atkins. Jordan Willis kicking inside. Michael Johnson kicking inside. It's going to be tough to combat those guys.
It's a 4th down. There's 10 seconds left. There's a debate on the field. I can only imagine they're talking about where to go for dinner at this point. Just run the last 10 seconds off and let's get out of here.
They're going to the plane.
Sean McDermott is not going to love what he saw from his first team today, and he's got a tough decision to make. Who is going to be the Bills' starting quarterback week 1?
And I think that he might put that a little bit on the back burner over the next day or so and really say, okay, how are we going to show up this offensive line for whoever we pick to play quarterback?
That's their biggest problem right now. So out of bounds with 3 seconds left. We'll have one more play before we could say goodnight in Orchard Park. And we'd like to thank all of you for watching today. Our director, Artie Kempner, our producer, Pete Macheska, our entire NFL on Fox crew. Can't wait to be back with you week 1, Charles, as we said.
Yes. We'll see you in the Twin Cities.
Minnesota and San Francisco. That's going to be juicy.
Listen, obviously the hype is real in Minnesota because of where they finished last year and then pick up Kirk Cousins. But the way San Francisco finished 5-0 with Jimmy Garoppolo as a quarterback, that has given renewed hope in the Bay Area. And it's increased expectations in a big way at that division for them. It's going to be fun to watch that one.
Sure has. That will do it. As a couple more autographs for Andy Dalton on his way out. What a day for he and his foundation and his Bengals, who win it 26-13 today in Western New York. More to come from Orchard Park. We'll come back and finish up a Bengals win over the Bills back after this.